بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. Before reading this short chapter, I would strongly urge the Muslim and Zoroastrian soulmates of mine to read the book of Revelation chapter 4, 5, and 6, as well as book of Ezekiel chapter 1 and 10, so that they can catch up to the already acquired knowledge level of my Christian and Yahudahi soulmates. Also, I invite my Christian and Yahudahi soulmates to read and smell the paracletic narration of Muhammadahi Spirita with Rozahi Ruha, that concisely in 18 summarized love lines narrates us to you about his reconfirming attendance in auspicious event that is mentioned in 2 chapters of book of Revelation. That is how concise is the Holy Quran. And in a way, as we are going to look only in 18 verses, we can say the entire book of Revelation is summarized. But more specifically, the chapter 5 and chapter 6 are summarized in 12 verses. The first 12 verses, or first 10 verses even, are summarized. First 10 sentences for 2 chapters of the book of Revelation. And that can show us how detailed is the book of Revelation, and that can show us what kind of headline and index book is the Holy Quran, and how they are working together. Before going any further, let me raise a Christmas question for our eyes to spice up ourselves with the gingery taste of Tasnimi truths. And so this is about the narration of the 7 seal scroll of the book of Revelation chapter 5 and 6 according to the Holy Quran. Question: who is the Shir Shu'ur Najm Shu'arai Sirius Christ, the star of consciousness? Who is he? And again, the Surah 53 is related more specifically about this aspect of Christ. Answer: as written in 43:57, and when the son of Maria, of Mother Mumbuk, was presented as an example, immediately your people. This is when it is saying your people, it is not talking about the Muslims, the Arab worshippers of the Shiva Lingam, of the Hindu Shiva Lingam, or the people of the Ganesha elephant that were living in Arabic Peninsula. Immediately your people, Hindu Arabs, which had turned the Kaaba into a museum of Osiris phalluses or Shiva Lingams, or Diablos Obliski Iblises, laughed aloud. Why? Because of talking about Christ, son of Mother Maria. And they said to themselves, are your Enki taught Ganesha elephant hoop of philosophy? The feel of the philosophy means elephant. The feel or the Nephilim, Nephilamasophy. Fil means elephant, Surah 105. Or the Matmaruti gods, are your gods better, or is he? Because he doesn't, because the Christ or Najm Shera or Isa Masih is not selling you the dark matter, dark energy knowledge. That's the knowledge of evil. That's what the knowledge in the Babel pit. That's the knowledge that Harut and Marut are making it available to be purchased by the chimpanzees of Barack Obama and Indra, Durga, Kali, Shakti, Sagati, Shikutsi, Satan. And so Christ, what does he have to sell? He is the true tree of knowledge of good. And tree of knowledge of good has precious dates of the palm tree, or the knowledge of good. Not the olive tree, but the palm tree, that is selling, and what is selling is all about Allah. That's it. Nothing of it is all about our Creator, even the creator of Ganesha and Marut, or Mat, Tot and Mat. And so for these chimpanzees that want and we had plenty of them in Arabian Peninsula, he is like, they are laughing because he's not selling them the knowledge of doing mumbo jumbo with the things and screwing around with the reality on the beta brainwave, or we call it that he's not selling them the knowledge, the deep teachings of the Satan, of there is no spoon thing, and so that's why they're laughing. And they said, are your gods better, or he is? Because he doesn't sell you the sex knowledge, he doesn't tell you how to reach to the ultra levels of the orgasm, or how to screw around with your neural system, or your nervous system, or he's not the greasy fertility fart god of the Hindu Arabs. They did not present a comparison except for argument. They just want to argue with the Muhammad, the student of Christ. But in fact, they are a people prone to dispute. Isahi Quran, Book of Love Life, or the Tishteria Star, was not but a superstar servant and a slate tablet book, upon whom, and Abdullah, upon whom we bestowed favor. And so what is this favor? Okay, by fire writing, by the pen firmament finger, and also he is the utmost highest level of the finger, or the pen, upon him solar slate self, and we made him, or ja'alnahu, and we placed, fixed, appointed, ja'alna him to be an example. No, it is not an example. A masalan. Masal literally means the image of Allah, and that is literally what we have in Colossians 1:15. And we made him, or v'makaynahu, here we go, and v'makaynahu fil arz, that is the same, and v'ja'alnahu masalan fil arz, or v'makayna, and we established him upon earth to be the TV, television, or the loudspeaker of Allah. In the same way, Colossians 1:15, we read the same thing. And an image of no, God is visible, but behind the Christ. And Christ is the Hajar and Hijran Mahjur, or hugging or closing himself. And if I pass the tests and show that how hungrily I need you, I choose you, lover and pilgrim and haji I am, how much hajat fi sudurikum of Surah 40 verse 80 there is in me, and we pass that, and then we show that we are hunger and we thirst. Then he shows, now look at the precious Allah of inside me. Okay, that's the Christ chamber Sambara. And so precisely we read this masalan, or the makani, or makanna, or kitab and maknoon is masalan. Masal is coming from what? Masal, or from salan, or we call it also that a tajalli, or a tajalli TV screen. Okay, and we made him an, it is not example, it is a masalan. Masalan literally means icon, example, example in a form of being an image or icon, or a replica, or a TV screen, a revelation from Allah, a representation from Allah upon us. And that is what we have in Genesis 1:16. The moon governs over us, the ones in hellhole. You want to call it earth, go ahead, you can do it, but they are one. Or as-safat, we call it, as we read, the lower cornea, as-safat saffan, or Ein Sof Awrahi, or Asif ibn Barkhia, Asif Ein Sof Safati, Suvipti, or Suviping, spreading, ابن برخیا الذی عنده علم من الكتاب, or the servant screen display عبدا من عبادنا آتیناه رحمة من عندنا وعلمناه. That علمناه means that they get him to become alam, or stand upright, or to become a مثلا من لدنا علم, and that is the knowledge of good that is about Allah, and that is related to the knowledge of life, or tree of life, or protos to eschatonic level. That then is coming to alpha to omega presentation, as-safat, becoming as-safat inside the alpha to omega. Or the Shamaimi name, Hashem word, way logos of Holy Allah, and proclamation partition, or the Hajar of Holy Allah, or Kalimatullah, or Kalimatullah, or the Kalimatul Taqwa, beyond whom the Shekinah meaning and the presence and dweller of the Holy Allah Hashem, okay, is dwelling upon his Marve Morvalid Mirh Murd Movassaqt molten sea, hardly loaded molten sea. It is not molten, it is under pressure, pressurized sea, or camel hump, that we call it sanam, and the water of life in it is called tasneem, or sun shining water of life, whose fulfillment with tasneema pours the sunshine water word of the life love into his suvipt savafa. That's what we have for the savafa, and that's where the Sawafa is coming, or Sha'airullah that are becoming Sawafa. Falbudan, and then we have the 12 kettles. Just quickly, I'm going to molten sea. If we put the molten sea here, we see in the molten sea that what we have 12 ozons, 3 on this side, 3 on that side, 3 on that side, and 3 on that side. Together they become al-budan. جعلنا لكم من شأن, from this budan or butun nahl, or the bellies of the honeybee, or the 12 kettles under the molten sea, or the Christ, are coming out what? The symbols of Allah. We call it in fact the hair rays, or the emanations, or the showers, or the discharge, that shar or shower, share, serious, show, share, sharing. Maybe even the share can go to the same root, most likely. شيرullah, شاعرullah, لكم فيها خيرا فاذكروا الله عليها صوافا. And so mention the ism of Allah. Who is the name of Allah? This is the this is the Christ. And so name, so remember and mention the Christ name, that is Masalullah, Ismullah, and Allah is the meaning of this name, of this ism that is behind it. Alayha, over them, Sawafa. And so he is Sawaf, sapphire, saffrony, emanating, sweeping, or hair spreading. فَإِذَا وَجَبَتْ جُنُوبَهَا, and so when they are come together, and the 12 constellation, فَإِذَا جَمْعَهُ وَقُرْآنَهُ ثُمَّ فَتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَهُ, the Surah 75, I think verse 18, 19, 17. فَإِذَا وَجَبَتْ, or فَإِذَا يُزْجِيَ السَّحَابَ الثَّقِيلَ, that's the vitrification of what? The sides. What are the sides? The 12 ozons. The 12 ozons, or the al-budan. And so when the 12 budans, or the 12 buruj, are getting together, then the milk is coming. فَكُلُوا مِنْ أَسَلْ مِنْهَا, or men, it's milk, or laban, or frankincense. وَاتْمَعُ الْغَانَ, and feed my sheep, again and again. This is the ultimate love, that vat'emu, the needy who do not ask, and also the needy who asks. There are that thirst and they are hungry. كَذَلَكَ وَسَخَّرْنَا لَكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, that you may inshallah be shakir. And so this is the sha'air, shares of Allah, or showers of Allah, or shower, in Persian we call it shur, and share is coming almost from the same, or discharging, and charges of Allah, or charges of Allah, or symbol of Allah, or words of Allah. That is also what we call it here as the shower, serious of Allah. And serious of Allah is coming from there. Okay? And that is all together. When they happen together, it is called savafing. Let me see if I still get to the, yes, we'll still get to the same link here. I wanted to see if yes, or the 12 nozzle spirits, فَجَّرْنَا فِيهَا مِنَ الْعُيُونِ, That's also what we have in Surah 36-34. And then 12 heavenly springs. وَفَجَعَلْنَا فِيهَا, in earth, from on top of it, gardens من نخیل and عناب, and because to gush forward فيها من العيون, from the spring. These uyuns are these 12 water sprouting bodan, or uyun, or eyes, that are or constellations. And or we have Fambajasta, or of our Surah 7 verse 160, Fambajasta, or gushed forth from him the 12 rivers for the 12 tribes of anti-Israeli Israel, the ones that are soaring up. Meanwhile, that the Israelis are going to get exterminated with all of the Zionist mirages, those so that they could moonshine or vitrine or showcase or again shower or share or charge or shore or shower for the anti-Israeli children of Israel. Who are the children of Israel? This is the children of Israel. Inshallah, soon. She is the daughter of the Saint Qasim Soleimani that was butchered by assassinated or raptured by this chimpanzee. Again, these are if we go to the Surah here to Revelation 13, we see that and this baron chimpanzee gets his pathetic toy to do what? To make war with saints and to kill them or rapture them. And authority is given to this chimpanzee over every tribe and people and language and nation. And so she is the daughter of a Israeli saint that is killed with the homosexual, false Zionist Christian Muslims, Maggeti Muslim supported Israel. And soon all of their, again, spider webs are going to be ripped apart. Here she's talking about the Surah 29 of these and bring about darkness for them and flatten their homes. But the translation is not complete, but it's talking about their flimsy spider webs of this funky civilization of Hindu orangutans. Will be the house of cards will be soon over, inshallah. I will revenge the blood of her blessed father, inshallah, very soon. And if we will not, we could have made instead of you Israeli angels. Now check it out, this is the important part that I want to get gradually toward it. And so the answer of who is Christ. Before that, we're warming up or getting preheated by and if we will not, we could have made instead of you these Arab Hindu Arabs, or the Buddhist Arabs of the bad Buddha Abaddon that were putting a lot of Osiris dildos or Washington monuments inside the Kaaba, or Nimrodi hard bones on the Soma steroid inside the Kaaba, before the coming of the Muhammadi apostle and a student of Christ, they were doing what? And God says that instead of you orangutans, I could put you devils, talking devils, Deva Devi worshipping devils, you monsters, we could put angels, Israeli Asurahi angels, or Malaik, or happy angels, or the sweet nataf droplets, or the fruitful sources, heart pitchers, fulfill with oozed olive oil and legacy literacy, who is moonshined from the love lamp, or goldly badal bedelium baptized convert Christianize upgrade badala jewels of Allahi alchemy. This is the Muslims that orangutans of the Modi are murdering in India. They are malaik, they are the angels, but they are put in the carbon based life form skin as for now, until we are all going to be de-skinned very soon, and then in the spirit realm all of us upon the resurrection, and then we will be in another dimension. Angels who are anointed, or alif lam mimat, or Allah لغت مشیخ or alif lam ruach, alif lam ra, and thus because of the Mahishasurahi Milka and Bismillahi blood breeze Haoma of love lam can be easily differentiated. Or again, Exodus 12:7, what do we read? Exodus 12:7, and they shall take off the blood and strike it with two sides of the post and put it on the doorpost of the houses, so that they can remain safe, right, for the Passover lamb. And so it is the same that we read here. And in your houses, it is the order of Allah that you tarfa'u, and you mention in them His name, and in this Ismullah is the masal, or the front ism, and the name of Allah that is rained down, or the honey rained down to us. Yusabbahu lahu, and then you are glorifying for Him, fiha bil ghadwa wal asab, in the evening and the morning. And so these buyut are the ones that are receiving what? The blood of the Passover lamb. They are purchased from among the nations and made holy. What is that? As we read again, let's I think we have it in thereby you purchase some for people with your blood out of every tribe, language, and nation, and you made them into a kingdom and priesthood for God, and they will raise, right? And so this is how you that these people are purchased with that breeze or blood, and so they are in what? They are called, that's the reason that they are called angels, or the birds, not the earth digging moles and geophagy pharaoh dwellers of the voivode, or the abyss residents or the angels who are anointed, or Alif Lam Mim, or they can be easily differentiated from empty clay pots and the naked apes and the Yugi Magog maggots and desiccated Canaanite mineral carnies of the desert wilderness, vampires of the Azab al-Mahin and the Ras, where the mercy ends and from there wrath starts. Although they are still under the mercy, but because of the lack of understanding and appreciation, soon the mercy period will be finished, and then from there the story will be different. Alchemized angels, who are what? Mortal angels, and then die. And this is a nice song that I put in the website. ما ز فلک بوده ای. From Queen Parisa. یار ملک بوده ای، باز همانجا رویم جمله. We were the angels before, and then we fall down, and we are going back to the Arya Kheshutati birdness, because that is our city, not this Nazi fascist fart governed rat hole. And so what does he say? That we were what? We were Malaik, or Asurai angels. We were in that Felukai birdness that is floating upon the hellhole, or the Vayu void. یار ملک بوده ای. And so یار ملک, we were of the angels. That's why we call them alchemized angels. Every single Muslim and Christian is a potential angel, malak, that belongs to that heavenly. They are the pilgrims that soon, like butterflies, they are going to go under that metamorphosis process, who are mortal angels and die generation after generation and replace, succeed. This is the correct translation of yakhlufun, that they are going one after the other, okay, in this verse. I'm telling it to the Muslims that have wrongly translated that you are killing the. If we wanted, we could make you angels who are inside the carbon-based skins or life forms, and then die and replace or succeed one another in the earth. Yakhlafun. That's the meaning of the yakhlafun. Yakhlafun. Or succeeding one another on the earth, while they are caliphate, they have caliphate dominion on old earth until time that they would go back to their Hezbollahi bird nest, or the new earth, or the first earth. As my Solomon Soleimanahi staff spirit has already incmedad and measured and mentioned these to nufazzalu ba'zaha ala ba'zin, these nutritiously diversified types, these 12 nutritiously diversified types of Israeli angels. Some of them are more nutritiously strengthened, or they are nufazzalu ba'zaha ala ba'zin, or fastabagos, or some of them are overtaking others in doing goods, like fighting with tyranny and dying for their neighbors, like the soldiers of Saint Sayyid Khorasani and Sayyid Yamani, that will attack to the angel killing monsters, and they are again فاستبقوا, they are competing in good thought, good humata, good hukhta, haq, and good huwarshta, anti-Israeli jihad, or the free Quds Jerusalem from the occupation of Shiva Lingam Washington Monument Obelisk. These Israeli angels are Christ Kauthar washed, ether washed, nataf sperms, or the Quran logos accept ethos angel seeds, accepted, obeyed, ethos angel seeds of Mahishasura Assyrian land, that the name of its dividing iron dam barrier, Hite, Jabal, gated wall, Euphrates blocked, or the Hiram, or the Harim, or the Qeshavatan, or the fence, is Gilgalically called. In this case, why I want to add another one, and it's called Khateme, or Khatam, or Khatam Suleiman, or the seal of Solomon. It is sealed. And then these Baha'i baboons, and then the Buddhist chimpanzees of the beast of the abyss, they cannot get into this. All they can do is to kill their bodies on the third earth, this one, and then say we're killing terrorists. But they cannot do anything to the souls of these precious angels, and they will be all get piled up together for heaven. And that is called Khatam, or Khatam, or seal of Solomon. Okay, that's the seal of Solomon that we have. And the seal of Solomon is called Khatam, or Khatam. Hebrew Strong 2856, 2368. Or Khateme of the Medina. The Medina from which the وَعَمَّ الْجَدَارَ فَكَانَ لِغُلَامَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ مِنَ الْمَدِينَةِ, verse 18 of Surah 18, verse 82 of Surah 18. That is called Medina, or the utmost end of the Medina, the outer courtyard. Okay, that is called the Hiram, or Hite, or Harim, or Qeshavat, or Sad, Sad, the iron dam, or also that iron dam is called Khatam, or Khatam, of the Solomon, Suleimanahi, Khatam Suleimanahi, seal. And that is where the spirit of Suleiman and a spirit of Solomon is one, because I have eaten the staff of Solomon, and I know that they are together in one Suleimanahi seal, or they are together in one Solomon Suleimanahi fusion. We are from Allah and we go back.
Executed a flawless precision strike that killed the #1 terrorist anywhere in the world, Qasem Soleimani. Soleimani was plotting.
Now, the terrorist, as I said, the terrorist is not the Soleimani. The terrorist is not even this monster. This has passed the terrorist. The terrorist is the nation that allows this orangutan to breathe, let alone to get it elected to become the president. That sick nation that is gay priding in the streets is the nation that has forgot that the #1 terror and the danger is to get bunch of reptiles and Hindu monsters to become their governors. regardless of the Bible that they shake in front of you, you have to look at their fruits. And their fruits is what? Killing the saints of Christ, just as we read here. They are killing the saints of Christ. And let us continue here. And that is called again Khatam of Suleiman, or the Khatam Soleimani. That according to the Allahi Villa would seal or Khatam ala qulub, these retards. And ala qulubahum wa ala sam'ihim wa ala absarihim, or this one I forgot to add, or here, yes, 2:7. In Allah says what? The creatures, the yogi monsters, yogi boogie baboons of the hellhole. Who the hell are these chimpanzees of the Ganesha? And so we read about these orangutans that Allah has done what? Khatama. Khatama, or Allah has sealed upon their qulubuhum, and upon their hearts. They don't have a heart, and they don't have a hearing, and they don't hear the Shema'im of the Sufi Sama. They don't hear the Ism of Allah or Hashem, and they cannot see because they are in what? Qishawatan. This is the qishawat, okay? And so for them is the punishment, the great punishment, generation after generation. Their grandfathers, their children, all of these Gentile junks together will be soon joining their ancestors all together in the filth that they belong to it. According to Allah Villa, and so they are called what? Azabul Mahin, that we have it for these chimpanzees outside of the Khatam Dam. And that Khatam, in other words, Allah has said, and so all the things that are outside, they are Khatam Dam. In other words, as we read here, for instance, let's look at the, now check this one out, okay? This is whatever is outside of the Khatam of Solomon, or the Khatm of the Medina, or the Mahdude, or Had, or Harim, or Hiram of the Medina, which means the boundary, the forbidden fence of the Medina. Then we go to Surah 40 verse 7, and then we see this is the interesting thing that we must understand, that you compass everything with rahmat, and everything is encompassed, everything, even these orangutans, with the mercy of Allah, or with the motherly rahma, or rachum, or the womb being hugging, and the motherly love of Allah, the shading, or the sha'irullah, or the shirias, or the charges, or the discharging shower of the mercy is even being rained upon them. However, they are done what? They are become khatama, and so they are sealed. And so like a upturned pot, now you rain an ocean on top of it, pour an ocean, not a single droplet will go into that. That's the meaning of this khatamat. And so that's why they are belong to the punishment, because they don't, or they cannot basically make the free choice of choosing Allah. That ability, or that qadara, or qudrat, or quwwat is taken away, is taken. And so all the choices that they are making are all with a compass that is set toward greater and greater levels of sorrow and regret. They are the people of the perdition pit, and their king is the Abaddon, the king of the abyss, this baboon Abaddon. And so they are sealed. or because seal khatama dam on the stone dams, or they are harumi. They are this hiram become harumi, the filthy, forbidden things, untouchables. Of the filthy yogis of the hellhole, the wilderness winepress of the wrath, or the profane perdition pit of the Hindu deva devi devils, that when they become the presidents and make this military industrial complex, then they come and kill the saints of the Israel, and then say we are killing terrorists. The real terrorist is saying who is the terrorist and who's that. The terrorist is the one, you chimpanzee, that is making the coronavirus to get the world to freeze into fear, so that you can go to your Armageddon scientific war with Christ and Imam Mahdi that are going to come very soon. Or the zero zombie land, the lawless Vanara jungle of the Samudi scumbags of the Barack Obama, which dare to assassinate Christ Sultan's angel saints with Qasem Solomon Soleimani spirits. And now, now I just wanted to say that these are the angels that have been mentioned in 4360. Okay, they are the angels, and they are yakhlafuna. It means that they are going generation after generation, and they are all Muslims. These the people of the Assyrian land, they are going generation after generation, and if we wanted, we could make you, all of you, Assyrian angels. But Allah has made the freedom of choice, and then Allah is the ultimate free choice maker. He decides who is going to be able to make the choice of going to his church mosque, and who is going to pass thousands of times in front of that church but never gets into it for baptized, or never gets for a shahadaten or alhamdulillah Surah 1 verse 1 to 7 for the baptismal. He's the ultimate free respecter to the free will, because he's the free willer in fact. And so and if you wanted, you could make all of you angels in earth yakhlafun. This succeeding means that generation after generation, the people of the book, or the holy nation that are made holy by the blood or the breeze or the milk or the rain of Christ, are succeeding on earth as the Khalifa, also, or as the kings of the second earth. Why? Because none of these orangutans can do anything. They cannot even scratch a line on these people, because they have the caliphate, or the dominion, absolute dominion in the second earth, in the city of Medina, from which I'm coming again. That city that this Malaik, the souls of this Malaik are living, is called Medina. Yes, 3620 is talking about Vaja Amen Aqsal Medina. That's where the witness of the Isaiah 19 is coming, and I am at the farthest end, is called at the boundary of the Khatama or the Hiram, and the other Medina, the same. That means the city of Din, or city of Adon, or city of religion. This is the city of the humans that have a religion, and that the only religion is Christ's religion of Allah. The rest is a cult, cult that is looks like what the humans have, but again, you go deep in, then you see that it is all betrayal to the talk. It is all about sex and silence and all of those things that all are nothing but deadly emanations of nothing. The other Medina is also again verse 80, Surah 18 verse 82. We also call this Medina as Damascus or Damascus. This Medina is not the Medina on this earth. This is in another earth. It's the Medina of the angels, or the souls, the place of the part of the Malakuti membrane upon which the souls of the believers are placed. If there is no gene attack, if there is no possession, those things are going on. The people are not still getting. Soon we are going to see what was the mercy that was safeguarding us with the Euphrates making the Iron Dam. When those are taken away, then we will see what the hell was happening and is happening in the hellhole of the pagan anomalies. But again, this Medina is called Damascus, or which means Damascus or Damshaqas, which means the something like the bloodshed place of the breeze, or the blood of the Christ, or the neighborhood that is under the shower discharge of the blood of Christ. The souls are in that area are not upturned, they are all up and they are full of wine. That is called Damascus or Medina, the city of Adon Din religion, that is donating down or donating blood donationing that is happening by the Christ. And now we reach to 4361, and so this was for the ones, the orangutans in the wilderness, that they laugh when Prophet Muhammad is talking about Isa, his teacher. Then they are laughing and saying that, oh, your gods are better, or his Christ is better. And then here after and Allah says that, well, if you don't laugh, orangutan, because if I wanted I could make you a Muslim, but you don't know that in fact by your laughing you're following my free will, because you have lost your fear from me and you think that you are defying Christ. But by defying Christ, in fact it is me that have sealed you and khatamed you, khatama ala qulubihim and sam'ihim, you, and then kick you in the rat hole, in the abyss, in the hellhole. And you're not an angel anymore, and you're not a malaik anymore, you're not in the Assyrian land, you're not drinking from Euphrates, or different levels, the very holy people, higher levels. And so now we get to 4361. So here we go with the answer to our question of who is Isa Christ. Now check it out, because we are getting to the subtopic of this chapter. And indeed, Isa, his superstar, is for receiving the knowledge, the seven seal scroll of the aura. So be not in doubt of it, and follow me. This moonshine palm tree trunk of good knowledge is the straight path, straight estirita, or the straight asirati sword, chinut pereto, chinvat beriji, iron rod, who is moonshiner out of the Messiah mouth of the Moonbook Mount. And so we read that this is for the knowledge, or the seven seal scroll. And so here is the seven seal scroll mentioned. The traditional translations of Asura 4361 are all rubbish, and I will correct them here. Let me correct some of the rubbish mistranslations of the 43 verse 61, because it is important. وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ, and indeed Christ, or Isa Masih, is made for receiving the ilm, or the knowledge, the spirit of the knowledge, the ultimate spirit, about what? The Sa'at, or the last hour. And so don't think any other way. And indeed, and so Erroneous core of the mistranslations is blackened, and so this is the commonplace translation, which is rubbish. And indeed, Jesus will be a sign for knowledge of the hour, because the thing that this is referring to the second coming of the Christ, and the second coming of the Christ will be prior to the hour, and so he is a sign. No one said that. How did you come up with such a translation of the hour? So be not in doubt of it, and follow me. This is a straight path. And so be not of it in doubt. And so about what? About the Sa'at, because Christ is the Amen, immune, trustworthy spirit, and he knows how to receive the knowledge of the hour from Allah. The mainstream interpretations and translations of this important one versa, which wrongly think and suggest that Christ Sultan is his second coming, because it is making the subject of the Christ to become one of the outcome, to become a sign, as something that is happening, as an object, and that his coming is turned into the what the sentence is reporting about him and predicating about him, that Christ Sultan is his second coming. But Christ is not his second coming. His second coming is something that can happen by Christ. Is his second coming, although it is not explicitly mentioned, and thus his second coming, as it is he, will be a sign, a knowledge, an information, a heads up, a news, a disclosed secrets, and evidence that the hour is around the corner. Okay, that's what Muslims think about this verse, which is wrong. Have a sin, and so this thing have syntactical mistakes as well as semantic ones. This trash translation cannot syntactically account for the letter L. إنه لعلم الساعة. This is syntactical. Okay, as for the syntactic, if we go with the grammar and forget about the what do you call it, the semantic one, the meaning of it, cannot syntactically account for the L letter, the marked by the green oval that I'm going to put it everywhere. Okay, this L is talking about what marked by green oval, which is preceding proposition, which with meaning of for, as to, for something, as for regarding the next noun word. And what is the next one? Is the ilm, or the knowledge. Christ will be a sign for what? This for must be outside. But if you put it outside of the bracket, like part of the main translation, then you cannot say, and that Jesus will be for knowledge. Because then they will say what? And then as soon as they say what, and then you cannot explain it, and you're supposed to say that, you cannot say that I don't know, and then everything gets a little bit out of the control. With meaning of for regarding the next noun or word of alam, secret, ilm, knowledge, info. Okay, regarding the next, and what is that alam or olam, or foreverity, or the knowledge, or again something that is standard bannered, and then you have the overseeing knowledge. That's the meaning of the knowledge, secret knowledge, or the we call it the hidden seven seal scroll, that is for, or is to, this is the correct translation, is to, or is for, is for be given, written to Christ's book. by Allah God. Although the second coming of the Christ clock is indeed into our experiential horizon, will be a signaling sign about the nearness of the last hour. That's as close as the hunch can get to it. And that is indeed the case of the history, the last hour. However, it is semantically wrong to think that the word of the knowledge means sign. That's wrong. What is wrong? The knowledge here, the la ilm, is not a sign. Ilm, the knowledge of the hour, is not a sign of the hour. The knowledge of the hour is the seventh seal scroll. 2 chapters in Book of Revelation are explaining what is the seventh seal scroll. Revelation 5 and Revelation 6. That is called Elm, or the hidden seven sealed scroll. And Christ is for receiving that. Because the sign means dalalat, ayat, alamat, isharat. These are the Arabic words that we use for the sign. Isharat, alamat, ayat, alat. Where is the place that we use ilm for translation? Where do we translate the ilm as sign in entire Holy Quran? There is no place, and this is a wrong translation. Rubbish. Sorry for my rude, but again, the problem is that we have again both type of mistakes in this case, both semantic and syntactic, and no one says anything. And again, the part of it is that we fail to go and read the book of Revelation. But anyway, I'm trying to correct. And so the correct translations of the first solar sentence of Surah 43 verse 61 is to say that innahu, and indeed, Christ calculator is for, la ilmu, is intended for, is designated to, is purposed for, is considered for, is set aside for, is reserved and purposed for, is to receive alam, ilm, ulam, secret, knowledge. That's the meaning of the secret knowledge, the hidden knowledge, or the revelation or information. That's the meaning of the ilm, or the intelligence, or let me put it this way so that you get it, USB flash drive data file, or the seven seal scroll of the aura. In this way we call it the book, biblion, in Revelation, of the aura or the ring time. And so the Christ computer clock is for Allah operator to set the alarm time, or the Christ computer is the apparatus that Allah attaches the USB flash drive data, and that contains what? The system reboot. The system restarts. We call it the aura. Entire programs in the system will go into absolute death, all of us. Okay? And then we will be resetted. Unless the ones that Allah wants them to remain in the BIOS of that system, and they can reboot the system or work, whoever Allah has decided. Okay, this is billions of times above our level. And so this is what we call it as indeed Christ capital is intended for, or is to receive alam, knowledge, revelation that Allah operator has kept to upload and set into his Christ computer clock. Let me remind the reader that the Quranic style of the Logos in narration is usually super summarized and concise, and mistranslation, or in this case lack of translation, like literally you just kick the L outside the 4 and then put it in the bracket, and then you said that all right, the Christ is the sign of the hour. No, Christ is for knowledge of the hour, or for receiving the knowledge of the hour. In this case, a lack of translation of trivial details like this proposition L or 4, of trivial details like propositions like 4, can amputate the meaning and of the solar sentence, as we are going to see in case of Surah 51 verse 1 to 18. Only 18 verses of Surah 53 are equal to 2 chapters of Book of Revelation. That shows how much condensed is, again, and these verses are not huge. These are each literally one, each one is one sentence, 18 sentences, and they are fairly short sentences. Okay, let me highlight the significance of the correct meaning of the 4361, i.e. And so the another correct translation: and Christ's capital clock is designated, created, made by Allah for receiving, and Christ is for. Okay, this must be outside of the bracket. This is part of the literal what we have it in the verse, is for receiving knowledge, 7 seal scroll, USB flash drive data file of the hour from Allah. Okay, this is the correct one. This is just as short as is possible, by indicating that Christ is the only platform program, pen and plate operating system. Okay, kind of read and writing. The writing goes on the plate because the plate is writing outside, or televising outside the TV screen, and at the same time the pen is reading Allah because pen is commanded by Allah. The Christ is the only platform or the program who is particularly explicit. This is the meaning of for. Okay, this is I'm talking about the for, why he is saying that he is for, designated, set aside, considered, purpose, solely reserved, purpose for, intended for this huge task, and by indicating that Christ is the only platform program who is particularly, explicitly, exclusively, specifically, solely designed, written, programmed, created, made for transfer, conveyance, delivery, getting uploaded, burdened, receiving the 7 seal scroll L knowledge USB flash drive data file of the aura. That's the meaning of for. Like you are made for this destination, or you are made for this job. This is just your tailor cut for this, fulfilling this task, this duty. Okay, that's the. Then we say for this job, this task, whatever, this objective. That's where the for is being used. You don't say that you are assigned that this task is going to be done. In order to show to the Muslim angels the biblical equivalent of 4361, Christ OS, that Christ OS, in another translation, Christ OS operating system is programmed particularly for downloading the 7 seal scroll knowledge of the aura from Allah programmer. capital Logos. Let me quote out the semantically similar and parallel vice versa from Revelation 5 that emphasizes on the exclusivity, uniqueness, and particularity of the Christ platform program operating system for tackling the undertaking of getting uploaded by the seven seal scroll knowledge of the hour. And I saw, and read in Revelation 5:1, and I saw in the right hand ring rainbow, فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى, okay, that close, that higher. We will get into it. We have it also in Ezekiel 1:28. Or again, that's Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim happens right after the Tetragrammaton throne. The first Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahimi echo after war, after creation, and that is the Christ that is doing it. And I saw in the right hand ring rainbow of Allah that sat on the throne, the Most High, a scroll, a USB flash drive data file, downloadable knowledge package, revelation Vorda, فَأَوْهَا إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْهَا, to be given in the, I am Abdullah. This is not about talking about Prophet Muhammad, okay? We will get to it. Written, wind ru'ah, within and on the back side, on both sides, sealed with the seven seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, one of the four living beings, who is worthy for, designated for, purpose for, considered for, set aside for, purpose for, worthy for, who is worthy, capable, holy, powerful enough, ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مستوى ذي العرش مكين, powerful enough for opening and receiving the scroll, the knowledge package, the data revelation, فَأَوْهَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْهَا, and to break the seven seals thereof. And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able, worthy, capable, designated for, intended for, to open and receive the scroll and knowledge package, or the data revelation, or fa'auha, or wahy, or the revelation, neither to look, neither to receive it, and then to look, even end of the end time creation, beginning of the new heaven and earth, and then perform it. Holy, that is just that is only our Savior can do it, the best of the creation, the crown, Christ crown of the creation. And I wept much because no man was found worthy, capable, lover, powerful enough. Here, ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مستوى, or علمه شديد القوى, or قوة, or كلمة قوة, or تقوى, or تقوى. He is full of El Shaddai hope, El Shaddai might, El Shaddai, or here ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مستوى, ذي العرش مكين, sorry. He is full of what? قوة. He is full of power, as the boundary horizon of Allah, His singularity, that is, and He is with, and the Logos was with God of John 1:1, inda, ladun, inda, near, close to, or the right hand of the owner of the throne. And that is how the makan, or place, or the yakin happens at the proto-sub top. And so quvvat or taqwa or kiviti, that's the amount of the power and the love power that Christ has. And I wept much because no man was found worthy for opening, receiving, and for reading, downloading the scroll knowledge, the USB flash drive data file, revelation, neither to look thereon, let alone carry it out and perform it. And one of the 24 elder hours, or Aidun Safarat Keramon Bararat, or Dabir Khane, or Midbar we call it, or the 24 charcoal chambers, or in the oracle, or the Dabir Khane, Falmudabbarat Amran that we have, or the highest horizon, Bel Ufuq al-Ala, or the Holy of the Holies, or the who are fire Farkiani. Okay, they have the Farawahar or the Fawirahi, they are receivers of the Fawirahi, Far Furuharid, the Fire Farawahara, by Allah Noon, Valgalam Bama Yastarun, the Allah Noon Nar fire. Said, and one of these Aidan Safarat Keramon Bararat said unto me, weep not, behold, the crossed lion star, the Tishteria star, the Homa Berda of the birdness, of the tearfully drenched tribe of Yehuda, the anti-Jewish Yehuda, the rocky root of Davida, has prevailed for opening, receiving, reading the scroll, the ilmul sa'at, opening, receiving, reading the scroll, the knowledge package, the data revelation. فَأَوْهَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْهَا. This is Ana Abdullah. That's where the Christ says in 1930, that's the Abdullah. And to break the seven seals thereof. And I behold, and lo, in the midst of the throne and the four Israfili seraphims, or the carbon cherubims, or the hot carbons, or the hot fat oils, and in the midst of the 24 elder hours, Aidan Safarat Kramon Bararats, stood a love lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns, or the 7 skies, the 7 tabaqan ala tabaq, that altogether these 7 horns become the sab'us samawat, or the raqiyya, and then the 7 eyes, or the 7 spirits of Allah, or the 7 churches, or the 7 mosques. We call it Masjid al-Aqsa, all of them together, or the 7 Parvin Proinosi stars, the 7 sisters at the back of the Sur constellation. What do we call it? Sur constellation. Taurus constellation in English, of Allah. Send rain not force, and having 7 horns and 7 eyes, and the 7 spirits of Allah, or send or rained force into all the earth. And he went up, or shoot, fly, so rise up to the Holy of the Holies, above the Holy of the Holies, okay, above the curtain of the higher curtain of the Holy of the Holies, because the middle ring row again can bounce up from the higher wing, 2 wings, and or goes lower than the lower ring row. We already discussed that. Zumarratan fastawa, or save up or stood up, and that is precisely what we have. ذو مرة فاستواد, and so he stood up and he raised up, or he star shoot up, or did his special and firmamental super story Haoma flight in the middle of the shaft, in the middle of the salsabili shaft of the lampstand, and then went up to the highest وهو بالأفق الأعلى of 53.7 of the heavenly horizons, above of the holy of the holies, and took, receive, read the downloaded in Halo, the scroll or the knowledge package revelation, or Oha, or the Wahy, out of the right hand, or the rainbow, and how much is the right hand? فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى, less than two rainbow distance of Allah's singularity, that sat on the Yasper Yasin Yashnam Izad Yazdan Rahman. Ani throne pupil. And then Sommadanna Fatadalla of Surah 53:1, the very beginning of the verse of this chapter. And then he came down. Sommadanna Fatadalla, or dannad, or downed, in order to share. Allamahu shadidul quwa, to allamahu, to share, to teach. Break it, and then came and break it and upshade it with the creation, because the creation cannot get to that level, okay? But when the crown of the creation is getting it, then what is he gonna do? He's going to break it. He doesn't know it neither, as we read before. We're going to read again. He says, even I don't know about the hour, okay? And so there are things that he don't even know, and so he's opening it, and then the rest of the creation are saying, because the book is getting love line, the tadbir is command, or the command, or the reasoning of the creator has come, and so the 24 elders are going to Aidan Safarat, love line the book, the 24 elder hour, the 4 living beings there are the prophets, the saints, the many angels, and so he is coming down. So madanna fatadalla wa najma eza hava, or the star is coming down from the right hand, in order to allamahu shadidul quwa, or the one that is full of taqwa, kibiti quwwat, share and teach the given gift good news as of his 12 honeymoon wedding with his honey spiritahi bride love lady, with the ruhi rest of the heavenly assembly, and his paracletic circle of the close. Now this is the mercy of Christ that he calls them, soulmates, friends, servants, or students, and golden groomsmen. That's about saqdush in Persian we call it, including groomsmen, yes, including the Muhammadahi guest who was there, allamahu shadidul quwa. And where was the Muhammad there? Another student, or the classmate, learning a student, servant of the Logos Christ teacher, who along with Johannes or John in the Patmos island, the other student servant of the Christ teacher, and the narrator of the book of Revelation, or the Wahy, sorry, not this Wahy, the other Wahy, we will read it, إن هو إلا وحي يوحى. This is the Wahy. Okay, وحي يوحى, and other prophetic classmates was invited to ما کذب فؤاد ما رأى, to see and witness, افتمارونها علی ما یرا. This auspicious vision, water word, and Ruhi revelation event, again, because we already read in Surah 21 verse 16, 17, 18, that Allah didn't make this creation for nothing. He could just let it to go like that, but he just made it to dash or hammer the falsehood, the atrocities, the murders, the butcherings of the angels by a bunch of sodomite scumbags and filthy vanity, death worshipping yogi boogies. And so Allah finally allows to the husband to go and get his 7 church mosque Venus wife, or Zohre, or the El Paramperonosi, 7 sisters, 7 spirits, or Parvini stars, to go and get them, gather them, and bring them out of the exile into the hellhole of these falseful pharaohs, funky pharaoh farts of the vanity. And so this is a good news part that again that can happen. And so to share the joy of the rendezvous and getting together of moon and the 7 stars together, and the Ruhi revelation event, in huwa illa wahyun yoha. Yes, here it is the in huwa illa wahyun yoha, or to share, see, witness this vision, water world, or this revelation, okay, with them. Not this capital revelation. I'm trying to make this for you to distinguish between this revelation versus this revelation. This Ruhi revelation event with other classmates, friends, soulmates. In short, I can conclude that when 4361 says that إِنَّهُ لَعِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ, or the Christ hysteria star, is designed, is intended for, is made for this job, is made for performing this divine duty, receiving and taking the 7 seal scroll revelation, ma oha wahy, revelation data file, then it means that no one, this 4 is bringing solely exclusivity, uniquely, he is unique in the creation, because no one in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was, is, and ever will be found worthy, weighty, heavy, abwaq, wise, full of love, fear, to and from Allah. You were worthy again, as much as Christ Hysteria star. And that's why the best of the creation, that Allah says, listen to him, as we read in Matthew 17 or Mark 9. Listen to him, I love him. This one is the master artistry of me, is this Christ. I've made something that again, it is basically Allah has finished the mastery by making, the Father had made the mastery in making the Christ. Again, holier than the Father, the Mother, these holy words, family, the neighbor, is religion of Allah. Basically, that's the holiest thing. Angels, or whatever, this is the holiest thing. And so that is the Christ Hysteria star, and Surah 53 is named after this, and these are the very first 18 verses of Surah 53, that for this went upping and shooting upping and then coming down and then sharing it with people, he is called as the is named after this function of Christ, and that is a star. Question: is Christ God? If not, then can I prove? The answer: yes. The answer to the first question is no. He is not God. He's not God. Although all of us are created by him, in him, for him, through him. One of the most significant ones out of the many evidences which can prove that Christ or the Homo bird is not God is the glorious event of receiving the 7 seal scroll or the info news data file knowledge of the hour. Resting of the 7 seal scroll word spirit of knowledge or da'at or da'ayat, the ayat of the Isaiah 1:2 on Christ, that the 7 spirits are sitting on him, a spirit of Lord and the spirit of the wisdom, understanding, a spirit of the counsel and vast, a spirit of the might, a spirit of the knowledge, and a spirit of fear from Allah. Is the second most significant event of the 7th day of the cow-cross creation. The first place in ranking is the event of death and rise of the Christ Sultan Star that we covered in previous sub-chapter. And that this is the second in the ranking because that's the one that right after the rise, this and the rise, or the yatawafika, or whiffing, or wafting, or off, or losing and then rise and the roof or being roofed. He instantly thanks Allah for taking care of everything during the 3 days that he's been dead, and that is the first one in the ranking. The second most significant event of the 7th day of the creation is in fact this event of the receiving the 7th seal scroll of the book of Revelation by Christ Tishteria star from Allah. As far as I know, the only one God is supposed to know everything, right? That's the definition of the all-knowing God. But receiving the 7th seal scroll spirit of info, news, data, file, knowledge of the hour is implicitly telling us that the flying superstar Sultan Christ, or the Homo bird of the Aerocheshutati bird nest, or the flying Mount Olive, does not know something, and so he goes to receive it from the only one God, or the all-knowing Holy Allah. That's just shows that he is not God. Let us read two proving statements from Christ Sultan, who explicitly acknowledges that he doesn't know everything, from which we can easily infer that he cannot be the only one God. And we cannot have 3 gods. Forget about that toxic thinking. And if Christ Ruha Amanah does not know something, then forget about thinking that Ruha Kodeshi might know. If Christ doesn't know, then Holy Spirit can, there's no way for Holy Spirit to know. Ruha Kodeshi, Ruhul Qudus might know that. And if the Holy Spirit doesn't know that, because the Christ doesn't know it, then it can be either, it can be God, it cannot be God either. I have to proofread it, but I didn't have time, sorry. But I think you get the point, that if he doesn't know and also the Holy Spirit doesn't know, then it cannot be God either. It cannot be God either. This needs correction. And also, and doesn't know, then it cannot be God either. Neither Ruha Amen nor Ruha Kodesh. As for having three gods, forget about that irrational joke too, because Allah has deliberately and mercifully planned these two most significant events of the seventh day of the cow creation. First, killing the Christ, killing the Christ, wafting, whiffing, enoughing, deceasing God, the Christ, and then rising him up, shows that because creation cannot last without God, that Allah doesn't need it. These two, and then rising him up is one that shows that Christ can be derailed and Allah doesn't need anyone. These two most significant events, in order to show us that he is the only one God. He is the only one God who kills and then rises the Christ Sultan from death. And similarly, as we are going to read, he is the only one God who knows and owns the seven seal, scroll, news, spirit, info, data file that Christ, the star of consciousness, does not know and own. Let us take a love look at Christ Sultan's acknowledgement about the fundamental fact that he is not God. This "not" is forgotten. I had to put it up here. Sorry. Let us topple the trash trinity tables of the toxic theologians. The end-time jihadi revolutionaries of attacking to the Israel of the Antichrist. We're gonna do this by hearing the Logos Lamb's word. So here we go with the acknowledgement of the Christ Tishteria star, who is Tishteria Tirahing the Tarshishi truth upon us by saying in these two, Matthew 24:36 and 32, 13:32, we read that, but of that day, door, disc, and that aura, that both of them are him, knows no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, or the Holy Spirit, neither not the Son, Huos, relative, kindred, a spirit, with the same manner, with the same temper. That's the meaning of Chish. Huos, relative, Ruh, a spirit, decision, let's call it, or Qara'a, cry of Allah. The Christ Tishteria Estar. No one knows, again, man, angels, neither the Ruha Ameni, a spirit, but only the Allah Father, the only one God, who knows everything and can wrathfully destroy or gently and mercifully kill. That's the difference. Yuhlek, halak, halakat, or that alhamdulillah, Allah hasn't decided mercifully for doing that. Thanks to Allah for killing our Christ crown, and gently, he mutawafika, or yafat, or yafa, or wiffing, killed the Christ OS operating system platform upon honey whom our programs are registered. That's the gently, and again, that's the controlled demolition. And both of them are showing that there is only one God. Similar acknowledgement that is loudly and clearly cry al Quran in Quran, that in 5:116, and beware the day when Allah his son disk will say, O Isa Messiah himun disk, a day or day door disk, because that is your day, the day of religion. O my religion, son of Mother Maria, did you say to the people, take me and my mother as deities beside Allah? Like tossing the father aside and then getting to the father, to the son, and the son and the mother Maria and his mother. But here we have to take into consideration, say to the people, take me and my mother as deities beside. Okay, as for the Christians that have not beside, Allah has basically they know about the Father, and they know that Christ is all about loving, through the love they're good, and he will say, exalted are you. No way, who am I to say that? It was not for me to say that trash Trinity jokes and falseful delusions, to which I have no right, because he is the righteous king, and in his robe is written righteousness and haq and hukhta. And so the hukhta of Allah is not supposed to say garbage things that are false, because then he wouldn't be the Christ, and so he never said that. This is all interpreted. That's all imagination. That's all the linear mind thinking. And the father-son thing, again, that's a patriarchal paradigm, or the king-queen type of thing that makes a okay, we have a father, then we need a son, or that kind of thing. And then we forget that the parable of the sheep, you are not a sheep, you are a human, okay? You're walking on not 4 legs, you're walking on, and so that he is not a son too. That's another parable. If you think that he is a son, then start walking on the 4 legs and then say that I am the sheep. How's that? This, we lose the point and the meaning, the tishteri shu'ur meaning of the parables, then we become the bigots, or we lose the point, we lose the form of the good, the goodness in it. The goodness is that the love is one, and then alone, without the need, is loving everyone. And the fact that he is alone, Allah, and he is who, or iyah, who is showing that that is the love. And we can, yes, so let's continue. I, Isa, had said it, you would have known it. If you you know what is within myself, but I do not know what is within yourself, because I am the lower olam, you are the higher olam, and so the lower olam cannot hide anything from the higher olam that sees what's going on, and so the higher olam sees it, and so what I have to do, hide. Indeed, it is you who is knower of the unseen. One of the many things that Allah know and the shooting Christ hysteria star didn't know was the alam or olam, and that's the meaning of the alam or olam, the secret. The secret, or in other words, something that is olam, we call it secret. What does that mean? That in the plane you can know everything, but if something is raised, then it is not in this plane, and then you don't see it. That's why we call it the secret, or the olam, or in other words, the words, the creation, what is raised up from the flat dead, or from the flat, no visible realm. That's the meaning of something that is raised, or banner. And it has a good and bad, not again, implications. We already talked with the Elam that is going to be destroyed, or the erected thinking of the chimpanzee that is now defying God. Did not shows that Allah knew, and the shooting hysteria star didn't. Was the alam or the olam or the secret seven seal scroll knowledge of the Isahi aura, that by receiving it and then knowing it, Isa became the aura, or the time that the Christ clock must become the aura, or alarming, beep 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 beep. Now it is set, like and that's a good sign, and also a scary sign, because it's showing that it's a timer bomb, and Allah set the bomb, set the time. Okay, and then the time is real time, but the preparation of the time is being done by the platform. And so he goes to the word that, again, like those three prayers, going back and forth, coming, seeing the apostles are DMT, drifting and drowsiness. He's coming and going back, he's confirming with the operator, like, are you willing to reboot the system? Yes. And are you willing to reboot the system? You must take over the system personally. And Allah says, don't worry, I'm on it. And enter. And then Christ goes for terminate. He is the best surrendered neck brokenness that we can even imagine. That's all. That's he's called Surah Ikhlas, or Clash, or Khalas, the ultimate Khalas. Seven seal scroll of the Isahi aura, the information, the good news, the knowledge package, the USB flash drive data file of Isahi aura, the revealah, the data revelation of Oha Ela Abdehi Ma'aha, to Christ clock, or the sickling Sa'at timer of the moon book break. Now, with respect to these two spicing Q&As, we are prepared and warmed up to go after the proper and pen prescribed decryption of 53:18, from 1 to 18. Where before Duahi decryption of 53 verse 1 to 18, let me bring two scriptural points to our minds. 1. In Christ Hysteria Star, or the Asura 53, we are dealing with the internal affairs of the new heaven and earth, or the command center, or the Melchizedek Mol Kingdom Day, with Yakin Salsabil Rakiyahi access, that is inside, at the back and beyond and behind our Sultan Christ. Scripturally speaking, when we're from outside exterior night, the hellhole, the old airs, we are dealing with the Christ book of the eternal life. Then he is called Manna Moon. Okay, because moon is shining at to the night, breathing to the night, blooding to the night. That in that case he is Asura 54, not 53. Okay, however, whenever we are dealing with an internal issue of the future cone inside the decision making command center, or the Eden Day eternity, or Muntaha, as the Sadatul Muntaha, or the Aqsa, Masjidul Aqsa, or Aqsa Mosque, or the seven flying church mosques, at the other side, at the Muntaha, at the ultimate side, at the other side of the Barzakh, Ismus, Christ, partition, veil, hijab of the Barzakh Ismus, or the bird nesty phoenix, fana fallah shod. With Qasim Suleiman Salamania, he burnt Burdah inside it. Now, good for our saint, he is now joined the heavenly kingdom. And so when we are from outside looking, Christ is the moon. When we are looking with the internal issues, where the 7 stars are, فَلَا أُقْسَمَ بِالْمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ, of Surah 56, I think verse 75, then he is called the star, not the moon, the star, the superstar. In another, this is where the star is coming. When the internal issue affairs of the future lafcon of the fireful fana, or the mamar al-marvei marbeli cornea cap cosmos case are discussed, as it is the case for the 7-sealed scroll of 53 verse 1 to 18, then we are among between amid the Parvin, Proinos, El Paran, Eupranos, Parande, Parvin, Proinos, Paran, Proino, Parvini, 7-star sisters, or Akhtar-Star, or Akhtar-Star, or Eden Day, or the Falaq Sama Mawaq Nujum, yes, 56 verse 75, or also the stars of Genesis 1:16, Revelation 1:16, Surah 16:16, and 55:6. And among them, the Christ Tishteria is the star, or Akhtar, the Ultra Akhtar, is still the brightest and superstar of the Edeni hot day, divine day. And again, in the day, what happens to the stars? They disappear in front of the sunshine of the Allahi sun. The hot divine daily significance of the Christ Tishteria star is that as Homa Haumahi mega bird phoenix of the heavenly furnace birdness of the Melchizedeki prime priest of Tur Tree Temple, he can freely fly, jump, bounce up, protos, zu marratan fastawa, and then down, summa danna fatadalla. Okay, he can bounce up and down because Allah, Father, the only one God, has given the entire 7 heaven, or the mosque, church, Knesset, Ganj, to be governed by his glorious Christ Homa Phoenix priest. The second scriptural point is that the chronological course, progress, flow of the Logos narration in 53:118, or the revelation, vision, event, inspiration, oracle, insight, the capital revelation, clairvoyance, ifsha, zuhur, ru'ya, zuhur, ilham, or ifsha, or fash, or ilham, is exactly similar to that of Book of Revelation. Is exactly the chronological course, okay, of legacy narration is exactly like the Book of the Revelation of Prophet John Yohana, or the Roya of the Yohana that we have. Similar to Jonah's Book of Revelation, In Muhammadahi version 2 of the vision revelation, the course of the narration is to firstly admit, attest, testify, bear witness to the fundamental factor that Muhammad, his servant, a slave, a student of the Christ Logos class cup, has seen, received, learned, assimilated, known, the teach, revealed, legacy, lesson, revelation, wahyan, yoha of 53:4, in huwa wahyan yoha, and that is precisely the same as again the Prophet John in Patmos Island. It's just the same. Or show inspired vision, word, oracle, event, and then secondly, mainly admit, attest, testify, bear witness to the fundamental factor that what was the lesson. First you said that, all right, I learned the lesson, thank you so much. And so in this case, in both cases, whether Prophet Muhammad's revelation or Prophet John's revelation, both of them are coming and saying that we received the revelation from Christ. And John says, I received the revelation from Christ. And then they said, now what was the revelation about? But first, it was revealed to them, the revelation, and seeing the event or their teaching. And so let me put it this way. First, they go into the event and they contribute as the groomsmen into that event. And that is called what? That is called revelation. And so to them, what is revealed to them? To them, the vision word is, water word vision is revealed, that Christ goes and does this, or they are invited to this event, the second most significant event of the 7th day of history of creation, 7th day of creation. And so after that, then Christ breaks and opens the revelation that he has received. Again, there are two types of two revelations are happening. Then Christ is opening فَأَوْحَى إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى, what was revealed to him by Allah. And then that is what we call it the process of the judgment day, of it, all the details, the two witnesses, the antichrist, the this, the that, and all of these things, okay, all together. And so the chronological course is to what is exactly to first admit, whether in book of Revelation of the Prophet John or Imam, firstly admit, attest, testify, bear witness that I, the apostle of the Christ, have seen the revelation and have been invited as the groomsman to that event. And then when Christ received the revelation from Allah, what was the revelation? And then the revelation will be explained. And then secondly, mainly admit, attest, testify, bear to the fundamental factor that the 7 scrolly revelation, vision, event, inspiration, oracle, insight, clairvoyance, instruction, decree of the conducting judgment day, information, goodness, good news, the knowledge package, the USB flash drive data file of Isahi Aura has been given, revealed, hand over, shown, instructed, ordered, debated, oracled, worded, reasoned by Allah to Allah, to Isa Messiah, his servant, a slave of Allah. قال any Abdullah, and this is the Abdullah. of 1930. This is Abd Obed. I can say shortly that here we are dealing with two revelations, to just make sure, because I'm giving the binary Binahi talk, and then I just make everything completely crystal clear for you. And so the Ahyan Yoha of verse 4 is different from the Vahy and the Oha of the verse 10. The first revelation is the vision Vorda that is revealed to Muhammad and John and the rest of the groomsmen, i.e. the Sufi students, Darwish disciples, who were invited to the great event of receiving and taking the second revelation, or the capital revelation from Allah. And then the second, the main revelation, is the vision Vorda, how-to manual, that is revealed by Allah, He operator architect, to His Isa Messiah, He a slave, servant, a slave computer, a slave object, a slave guitar, a slave this and that. And basically that's the slave that is doing it. Distinguishing the Binahi difference between these two revelations is important. Distinguishing the Binahi difference between these two revelations is important. Let us read two solar sentences that talk about both of these two revelations. Revelation 1. The revelation of Isa Christ. This is the revelation, the capital revelation, the seventh seal scroll, the data file, the knowledge of the aura of the Isa Christ, which Allah gave, revealed, taught, oracled, worded unto him. Because he is worthy of receiving it, and he is made for receiving it, and he is intended for receiving it. And to show, teach, reveal, this is the second reveal. The first one is the 53:10, the second one is 50:53:4. To show and teach it unto his servants, students, slaves, groomsmen, the things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his mega Christ angel unto his Christ John and Muhammad. Revelation 1:2, just the chronology, the very beginning of the book of Revelation. Who bear us, the servant of the Christ, who is himself the servant of Allah, and they are the abd of Christ. And Christ is the abd, or the servant of Allah. Two servants and then the servant. To his servant John or Muhammad, who bear and record and witness of the revelation word, the seven seal scroll of Allah, that was breathed, give, downloaded, revealed into the Christ computer, and of the testimony of Isa Christ, who break open, unseal, unzip, revealer, and of the testimony, the witness of Isa Christ. And what is that? Who break open, unseal, unzip, revealer, the revelation, or the seven seal scroll, or the USB knowledge data file disk, or the knowledge, and then teach, showed it. It is referring to the revelation to his servants, students, slaves, groomsmen, and of all things that he saw. And so as we see here, we go with these two revelations. Here we go with Quranic version of revelation that was revealed to MahMahdi, student, servant, slave, groomsman of the Tishteria, teacher, Christ, class, Kab, Piyale. And so I think we have now enough background to go into these verses. And so Surah 53 verse 1 to 18. Christ Tishteria star or Najma She'ra or Tishteria, or again the Yashin 8 of the Avistayish, Pristayish, or Yasnayish, or Yasnaization of Allah, who is Yasnayish, priest, yesing him holy self, is called after Christ a star as a star of consciousness, or Tishteria a star, or the Yasna. Also in book of Yasna we have the his mentioned in Yasna 1, 7, 16, 27, or Psalms 133:3, or the Hermon, or the Hermon, or the Haramon, Mashe'ra, or the Mashe'ra, or Tishteria, and that is Psalms here you can see, and or Mash'ar al-Haram, or Surah 53. And this is an internal affair, and so that's why we are looking at the star state. Gabrielahi, mini angel of the Christ star angel, says, I swear by the Christ Tishteria Sirius star, who inevitably descend, fall down us, or Havaz, 1933, or Havaz, or solar lunar eclipse in front of Allah his Son, from Protosi up top of the Salsabil Shaft Rock Rakiya to Eskatani Yesod foundation, or his throne, the Christ throne, of the judgment of the earth, of the judgment day, or the Logel listening, or the solar speaking to earth. And Havai descend means that Christ Homa mega bird phoenix of the seven heavens would dive, drop, jump, somersault, fly, bounce up and down from Protosi right hand close distance of Allahi throne pupil in order to become Yatsad, or the Vaza'at, or Vaza al-Kitab, or the book of life is placed, or laid, or sit at his Katuzi throne, or positioned, stationed as the moon book disc UFO of the love life for embarking the Israeli pilgrim passenger, because the permission is now given to him, or the condensed cloud, or the Katuzi, Katizoi, Qudusi, Qudishi, Taqdisi, overarching, standing, anticline, stand, hover, footstep down, istahing, or qidma, qadamahing, qadqamat aping, or the yakin kianing, or the kitabul maknunin wa makkanahu lahu fil arzd, over the Galilee garden ground. In this case he is called the moon. That's why he's here is called moon. But when he's going up, we call him as the Tishteria star. And that is again how Najma Hava, I swear by descent, fall down, by fall, descend, Havaz, by the Christ here, by the Christ Tishteria star, who, this must be outside of the bracket, who descends, falls down, or Havaz down, or comes down, very from the up top, from the protosi up top, and so he comes down again to open and share and teach the lessons to his students. 53:2. Your your apocalypse writing, Johannes القديس يوحنا الإنجيلي, the beloved apostle.
This is a holy place where incomprehensible things happen. In the Sinai, the Lord spoke to Moses, and here the Lord spoke to John, his beloved disciple. The most important thing is that this is where the future of humanity was revealed. In 95 AD, the Emperor Domitian, a persecutor of Christians, decided to banish St. John to Patmos, which the Romans used as a place of exile in the 1st century. It was as such an exile that St. John came to pray here in this cave. The Revelation to John, the last book of the New Testament, was written down right here. Its main theme is Judgment Day and the battle of the Lord and the Antichrist, which was won by the Lord. The revelation concerns all kinds of people all over the world nowadays, because much of what it says has started to happen. This is the spot where St. John rested. He used this recess as a support for his head. And that's where he leaned when he wanted to get up, because he was a very old man, already 100 years old. This is where his disciple Prochorus wrote down what the saint dictated to him. This crack here is evidence of the Lord's appearance. The rock split when his voice rang out. The crack starts at this point and ends here, where it's divided into three as a symbol of the Trinity of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Healthy Trinity. Okay, let's get that way. Holy, this is just this is so holy. The cracking, there are many things that I didn't have time to explain, but when the Christ descends and sits in a ship or in a boat, then locality is truly warped, and that's a holy place. And in November 2014, when I was in the art studio of Anahita in the building that I showed you, 55 Campers Drive in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, was the place that Christ showed me, descended upon me, so that I can give you the good news. That all of his promises were true. He did everything that he promised, but the problem of us is that we reject him, or we cannot understand what he's doing. And so your apocalypse writing, القديس يوحنا الإنجيلي, or Johannes John Master from the blessed Patmos Island, and your محمداهی master companion و ما زل صاحبكم و ما غوا, and none of them, none of our masters, whether Muhammad or Johannes from Patmos Island, the companion, has or have not strayed, nor has he erred. When they drank that they divinely do dream vision water light lesson from the Tishteria teacher Christ class cup piale. Okay, and so they did not wrong. ما زل صاحبكم و ما غوا. They both learned their lessons perfectly, clearly, crystal clearly, not like me, what's going on and here, and all of those things. Again, these are the these are prophets of the holy class, right? And so ما ينطق عن الهوى, nor does he, both of them, speak as with in John 1 to 6 and 7 and 8 that he came to testify about the light, but he is not light. Nor does he speak of his own inclination, as you can see sometimes I have it of myself. 53:4, it is not but a revelation revealed, vahyan yoha, and this is or a lesson taught to the students, as to here it is between only the Christ Lord and his students, his apostles, his groomsmen. This revelation has been teach, rain, pour, revealed, or tishteria tira, into the heart pictures of the Master Yohanna and Muhammad, Hero Ahmad, or Rosa, from Christ's cloud cup. As we are to read ahead and later in next chapters, chapter 5, 6, and 8 of Book of John, Prophet John, salam of Allah be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in next verses of Muhammad's book, this revelation or vision or lesson or teaching or word contains of two events or occurrences: internal affairs inside the higher cone, first earth, future love light cone, new heaven and earth. That means take and receiving the revelation, the real revelation, and the how-to manual, the instruction, the knowledge, the info, the mega USB disk, وَأَنَّهُ لَعِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ, the seven seal scroll, the knowledge, the data book from Allah, so that the moon book can be love lined. And then two, that's one part, receiving it, and then two, break open, unseal, unzip, revealing, actualizing, performing it, the received USB data file. Okay, and so we continue with Surah 53:5, and so this one was for the in huwa illa wahyun yoha. The lesson is this this revelation is not to Christ from Allah. This revelation is from Christ to Johannes in Patmos Island, as well as Muhammad in I think, I don't know if this is a Makki surah or Madani, but in which city Prophet Muhammad has been sallallahu alaihi wasallam to receive the lesson, but basically both of them have been this is the second part, that is that the revelation is broken, unsealed, unzipped, performed, and then the prophets are just narrating the procedure of the actualization of it. Part of it is the two witnesses, and my coming this on Ramadan 2020 by this chimpanzee Barack Obama, that has made the coronavirus in the world and doesn't care about anything but only to slows me down and get me to spread the good news to the rest of the world. and get the news as a nafs zakiyah to reach to Ayatollah Khamenei or Sayyid Khorasani and Sayyid Nasrullah Sayyidi Amani. 5035. It show revealing or and so it the show and revealing of the revelation, okay, event 1 and 2 is taught, shown to him, okay, this revelation, the lowercase revelation, it is taught and shown to him. Rozahi Muhammad and Blessed John in Patmos Island, by Christ Star, who is called what? Almighty mercy, Almighty in mercy might. It's one of the names of Christ in Holy Quran. Is Shadidul Quwa, with El Shaddai Quwa, and hard power and hope power and love power for Allah. Now, do you dare to challenge his beloved Allah? He will pulverize you, you chimpanzee who defy Allah. Almighty in mercy might, or the one who El Shaddai, Shaddaiik, he's with El Shaddai or Shadidul Qawaik, Qawa and Quwa, zi Quwwatan, and or he is the Kalimatut Taqwa, or the word of Quwa and strength and hope and wanting and talabing and khastaning and needing and requiring your beloved God, the only one God. That is Taqwa or Quwa, activity or tiqwa. We have it also as the tiqwa, and we also call again and again he is full of, he is the kalimatul taqwa because he is the quwwatan or shadidul quwa or tiqwa or taqwa 8615, or how powerful word of love to or fear from Allah. When you are loved with your beloved, you fear losing your beloved or making your beloved angry or something like that. Owner of the heavy solar strength. And so 53.6. From here we enter into seeing the event 1, receiving the revelation from Allah, and then coming down and then sharing it with the rest, that what was that Allah, what is the decision of Allah, what is that Allah has cried qara'at into my ear, and so I can come and tell to everybody, to the creation. Because it goes somewhere that entire creation are, ooh, that is so holy. That is the level ultra holy, well beyond the 24 elders and then the 4 living beings. All right, let's buckle up for reading the second most significant event of the 7th day of the creation. This is Christ's home of Phoenix's firmamental flight or superstarry soar through the Salsabila. He shaft all the way up. This Christ hysteria is one. This the Quwwatan or El Shaddai Qawi or with El Shaddai Qawa or Kawa or Quwa or Tiqwa or Taqwa or love, a spirit of the fear of Allah and a spirit of love to Allah, is one of the solar soundness and strength or merratan, something like murt or the well-girded or decisively focused, or مرتت ذو مرة or murd, binded, well binded, firmly focused, or firmamental force, ability to hold, and he rise, fly, fastava, or astavat is the savad or the saved up, or savad, and jumped out at the seven skies all the way up to his true form, Melchizedek's priestly form, or the home of phoenix bird, or the super starry fly, from the eschaton to the protos, like a release undocking coral sida. He released him solar self from eschatonic ground floor of the seven seas Salem city ocean bay of the sweet water world wind villas, his marva or al marvai cornea cup hump cup, who is moored to and by God, and then did his spacious superstar flight into Gilgal, or Gala, and then again قل هو الله أحد قل هو الله الصمد قل لم يلد ولم يولد قل ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. And that's how he is with قول, with each قول and calling, and then the entire heaven are smoking and cheering and following him and saying he is going all the way up and higher than the oracle for receiving the revelation, or the Ragiei flying waka of the Christ clergyman, or the Melchizedek priest Imam Sheikh from eschaton porch of his church mosque to the proto sanctuary holy of the holies, or the oracle of his Turturi temple church mosque. And in other words, he went up. That's what we have it in the Revelation 5:7. And he came, or entered, and took out of the right hand of Allah that is sitting on the throne, and he received the biblion, or the revelation, or the from there. That's how the reality is known, or how the reality must be projected upon into the vanity, or the dark room. And he went up, or the holy room, Ramayat, Rama, that's we have it, or roomed up, or Ramaya, or room, Ram, fling, through, hurl, uplift, swim, soar, shooting a star up. That's just like what we have it as Ezekiel 10:4 or 9:3. We can see, for instance, in Ezekiel 10:4, and he is the glory of Allah. And then the glory of Allah roomed up, or went up higher than cherubims, and stood over them. And the threshold of the house, what is the threshold of the house? The boundary horizon, the end of the creation, when he becomes the boundary horizon of Allah, or the third eye of the crown chakra, or in other words, he becomes the highest. He goes as the middle ring that is that can fluctuate, oscillate, goes down and goes up, goes from the higher wing ring row and the lower wing ring row. He goes up and then goes all the way closest to the Allah, and that is called the threshold, the end of the creation. And that's how high the glory, or the kabud of the Allah can went up. The kabud of Allah is Christ, or charming Karim Korom of Allah, or the free. That's how he roomed up, or Ramayad up, or feeling through, hurl, uplift, swim, soars, home of phoenix, fly, shooting a star up toward the protosi, far up top, for event 1, receiving the revelation from Allah. 53:7. He was by the highest horizon, or the الیونی or افق الاعلایی of up off افق اوف elevation الف اوف of the up of elevation above the holy of the holies, and هو بالأفق الأعلى. He was at the highest افق, or at the highest, higher than the seven skies, above the seven sky. And over there he becomes the kabud, glory, corona, or the name nimbus, or the wind, or the ruach, or the aura, or the cotton, cloud, qeshet, qaus, arc around the Allahi pupil, or the iris of Allah, or the nimbus of Allah. Now let's 53:8. Then after receiving, lambanoing, the revelation from event horizon, or the right hand, or the ring row, or the nimbusi nearness, endaze arsh makin, enda, or the ladon, من لدن علمناه من لدنا علما, من لدن, the nearness of Allah creator singularity. Then he approached or descended down, literally in English or in Arabic, or danna, downed. And again, that's the root word of the event, the din, or donating, or donating, or adorning, down, among the heavenly creation, the heavenly beings, the invited guests, the witnesses, the groomsmen, as well as the four living beings, as well as the 24 Aidan Safarat Kiramon Bararat, for event 2. And event 2 is to break open, unseal, unzipping the revelation of event 1, and then revealing it to heaven, so that the moon book can become written, and this is called Allah is flying over the sweet waters, or the oceans. This is called flying of the Creator, or basically because decision making, tadbiring. Now that we have reached to the end of this verse, the first phase of the Logos narration of the event 1 and 2, now we have reached to the end of this verse. The first phase of the Logos narration of event 1 and 2, the successful return, summadanna fatadalla, to the angelic assembly and the heavenly creation, means that the Christ Ishterius has fulfilled the mission, task, purpose, objective for which he has been created by Allah. That's why he said that indeed innahu la'ilmun lis-sa'at, that he is made, the glory of Allah is made, the glory of the Lord is made to go above and reach to the threshold of the house, and then after receiving it, coming down and then sharing it with the rest of the house. From this point forward, the Logos narration goes back to event 1 and then to event 2, in order to highlight and accentuate the most significant details of each one of these two events. And now we go now into event 1 respectively. 53:9. فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى. And this verse 1 verse is the most significant detail of the event 1, that how close can become the iris to the pupil, Before translating it, let us follow and trace the second half of the Salsabili Ramaya, soar, pass, or the fly route, or the Sattva sets save up, fastavad, upward riser, that we have it again in Ezekiel 10:4 or even 9:3. We have the same. And the glory of Allah of these days went gone up from the four seraphims, gone up, this going up, upper than them, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. That is like he reaches to the utmost high. That is what we call it as what? As the less than 2 cubits, or the right hand of Allah. فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى. After shooting Christ Tishteria Star. After the Christ Tishteria Star passes the Rakia altar of fanning, or altar of incensing, or running, فيها ما عينان تجریان of 55:48 and 50 زوتان افنانی, or the raqul manshur nashering, or the eagle flying, or توصیفی صوفیing Allah, or characterizing, judging, exalting, praising, priesting Allah, the prayers of the saints that goes up, incense that Gabriel, or the Gabriel, or the Jabarutic Javura, and the Hasidical sends up the Subhan Shabach Sepasto Salah, Subhan Shabach Sepasto Salahing, Subhan Shabach Sepastos Sebomai Shabach Allahing Smoka. And again, Gabriel angel cannot go beyond that level, beyond this. Then he reaches up to first the lower wing ring row, to the lower veil wing, or the kanaf, or the wing, or the ring row, or the petal, or the eyelid, or the curtain, or that in the curtain again, that in farkat is what we call it as or parkat, like parche, parquet, parche. That's what we have it. Or again, that's the curtain of the curtain of the Holy of the Holies, or to the lower veil wing of the third eye, or the sihr. That's what we call it as the sahar, or the sihr. Here we have the bit as the, or we call it all together, as we said before, Christ for cornerstone arca, or the Holy of the Holies, or the oracle, or the Debir. The lower veil wing row comprises of the 24 similar to man scribes, scriveners, bookers, notaries, ciphers, ciphers, and that is called safarat, literally ciphers, ciphers, notaries. And that is what we have it in Surah 80 verse 50 and 60. The man in the white linen, or with the spatulas, or with the tongues that they catch fire. The fire is not really fire. The fire is what? The fire is the decision of Allah. Whatever it is, that is the fire. And that is the food that the prophets have when they go above the Chassidic or the Hasidic level, and then they eat. And so here we read about the notaries or the 24 elders. بأيد سفرت, and they are the hands. And again, these are the hands that we are, and they are what? They are kiramun bararat. Let me see if we can. Yeah, if we can. Or maybe I can put 16 only. I think that way it works. بأيد سفرت كرام بررة. And so they are what? They are the in the hands, that hands of the scribes, or the 24 hands, or as we are going to look there, the 24 tongues, fire catching tongues. And they are kiramun bararat, or they are charming, kiramun, charming, karim, kuroming, enchanted, generously, nobly, bararat, dutiful. And so similar to man, or the man with the white linen, maybe they can be called scribes, the screen winners, the bookers, the notaries, the ciphers, the ciphers, sepharats, the ciphers, who are fire purified, kiramun bararat, and they are fire cleansed. Or 24 similar to man elder hours, or 24 fire far furu haraht thrones, crowns, charcoal chambers. These are the 24 charcoal chambers. Or 24 palm tree dates that we have again as the palm tree dates that are written here. They are also again the dates that we have, the cherubims, the lion, the palm trees. Again, they are for the four Israfili seraphims, and one of them is looking like the cow, ox, lion, eagle, and the other one is like a man. Or when they are mixed together and make a ring, then the lower ring is capable of receiving this men dressed in white linen. Or we call them almond, or sakat, or saq, nuts. They are the nuts on the lampstand. The 24 knobs on the lampstand, because lampstand has 4 knobs on it, and each cup on the shaft of the lampstand is representing 1 seraphims, and then together they become the 4 cherubims. And these 4 cherubims, each one has 3 rows of the wings, and then the wings are touched tip to tip, and then together they make 10 cubits of the diameter, 30 cubits of the circumference of the raqiya shaft, or the spring of the downpouring salom shalom shower. Or we call them the 24 likeness, domiyat, like dummy like, or the similar to Adam, human, hands, the aiden safarat, yad, that like fire catching, malaghe, that's literally what we have, malaghe, snuffers, dippers, tongues, ladles. Here we have it in Isaiah 6:6. And flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, and he had taken with the tongue from which he had taken with the tongue from the altar. And so they are the tongue stretchers. And again, in the cherubims or the seraphims, they have what? Wings. And so on their wings are seated the 24 elders, and they are the tongues, or we call them the ladders, the fire catching ladders, or aidan, hands. This is the same meaning of hands. They are the hands of the 24 Adam like beings, or Adam like elders, that are writing the fire decree, and that is called malaghe, or the snuffers, or dippers, or the tongues, or the ladles, or the scoop, catch, take, laga, from the cascade of fire flow from Allahi Nun Nar, and then hands out, as we read before. In all of these cases we can see this handing out of, even we already looked at those, the Yirmiyahu 1, and the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. This is and the Lord said unto me, behold, I put my words into this putting of the words. This is the live charcoals, and then live coals, or the fire coals, and then touch, and then put his hand. Lord doesn't touch anyone. Put forth his hand and touch my mouth is not happening directly, okay? And so how it is happening? It is happening by the 24 elders. Not even the Christ touches him. Walau tamtashonar, as we look in Surah 24 verse 35. Lord does not touch anybody, okay? What touches the creation is the 24 elders that sanctify the prophets and give them and so that is the Yirmiyahu, or again 10:2, 7 to 8, 21, all of these verses. Or as we said, the hand of the Imam Ali appeared from behind the veil, the lower ring row for the dining of the fire Rahi words. These are the words of Allah. The apples that are talking, these are all the Sufi apostolic metaphors, the mystical metaphors that have been being used. That is the hand, the hand that is stretched and is giving and that you can imagine what kind of hand can pass the word, that I put my word on your mouth, or I put my that I put my flow of the live coal and take off from the tongue with the tongues from off the altar, and he laid it upon my mouth and said, this has touched thy lips, and thy iniquity is taken away. You're not gonna lie, and thy sin is purged. Okay, and so these hands are not ordinary hands, okay? They are the 24 elder hours that are فَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ أَمْرًا. That is literally what we call them. فالمدبرات امرا or دبرات or يدبرات الامرا. They are مدبرات و ناشطین نشتن. They are writing, or the or like the acacia shoots are writing it, or getting the mountain to become known, والقلم و ما یسترون, to be written. The decree of Allah, they are passing it to the creation. That's how the hand of Allah touches. In a way, yes, they are the hand, or they are the lower part of the ark, or the debir, or the veil of the debir. Or the firahi, live charcoal, zoghal, jachal, from behind, beyond the veil, or the lower wing ring row partition of the holy of the holies, curtain barrier of the debir oracle, or we call them what? The binai level, where the touching happens. Touching happens with the altar of the throat, or the burning smoke by the bina. And the bina again is the binary bina, talking like understandable a form of the alteration and the oration that is completely clearly understood for the prophet, that is allowed to reach to the altar of communicating directly with Allah. And then whatever Allah says, the four Seraphim, Israfil, and the Christ, and the 24 elder hours, they register, and then the prophet is communicated. And that is how the Ahura Mazdahi fire reaches from the Keter to the Chokma, or the Hikmat, from the power of the love power of Allah, reaches to the reasoning and the meaning that he is meaning, or the decision, and then from there to understanding. And when it is understood, and aidat, or the yadet, or the with the tongue, ladles, or the hands, 24 hands, fire catching, the word writing hands, they are written. And then once they are written, then they can be said to the throat chakra, or to the altar of incense, and the lower part to the jaburat and the hasidic love to Allah, so that they can smoke as Allah loves. This is how you're gonna smoke for me. I'm gonna like this way of smoking. Say, all right, Roger. And then we smoke. Lower wing ring row, or the partition of the holy of the holies, or the curtain of the debir oracle, B9 level, so that the Mumbuk Mount Medina, this is the higher Medina, not the outer Medina, okay? It is in the new earth and heaven. So that the Mumbuk Mount Medina church, flying church, mosque, city, would become scripted, love-lined, shuttered, masturd. This number one wing ring row from the bottom going up, or the binahi taht, bottom floor. And that's again what we have it here in Isaiah 6:2. After 24 hands, we can call them the 24 ladles, 24 tongues, or the 24 hands. Be'aiden safarat, the hands are important. The hands, the living being that looks like the face of the human, is where basically the 24 elder hours are being placed. The 24 crowns, who are seated at 8 wings. That's part of the 69:17, the lower one, or the Revelation 4:8. And the four beasts, each one had 6 wings, and they were full of the eyes or hands, and the lower part. And the rest of day and night they rest not to say Hagios, 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 Yahuwah al-Haq Ta'ala, Yahuwah al-Haq Ta'ala, Yahuwah al-Haq Ta'ala, Yahuwah al-Hakak Ta'ala, Yahuwah al-Hukhta Hagios Hakak Ta'ala. This wing ring who are seated on the 8 wings is under the third wing ring row, or the third parche or parquet, veil, petal, eyelid, wing ring row, or the chokmai wisdom, because that's where the 24 elder, 4 living beings, or the 4 seraphims, or the fire serpents are fire surfing, that comprises of the 4 cherub cherubims, or 4 fire serving seraphim Israfils, or the 4 megashut shittim acacias, or nashatina nashtan, who have 6 wing branches, 4 wing branched plus 2 wing branch, who are loaded with the 24 binahi scribe ladders, fire tongues, or these aidan safarats. And so the feather row number 3, or the one again, we're going from down to up. First the number 1, and then number 2, we're gonna work with it, and the number 3. The feather of number 3, or the rooftop, with 8 wing ring rows, or the highest, loftiest veil wing ring row of these 4 cherubims, or for Seraphil Esrafis, is constantly, restlessly believing, beholding, yu'menuning, amening, seeing, securing, anchoring, looking, eye touching, without touching, or is that God gazing, grabbing, hanging from Allah, or in fact Allah is hanging them, allowing them to look at Him, Holy Self. Carrying, bearing, vistaing, view, outlooking. This is out of the creation. Through the Christ event horizon, they are looking at Allah infinity. To capital Logos crown chakra, draw upping, love look upping, pull upping, yamsako honnaing, or the laying eye touch, or without touch, or kacha yaksha kasa casing around, or havila whole howling around and toward the Allahi fire source, or the Aleph crown chakra, or al-hal, the white hole, or in Kuruz, Kursiya, the throne, Arsh, throne Tyran, Kafa, or Pan, or Pishan, or face, or flatly spread, Izad Yasin Yasna, Yasper Panah Penuel, Pan, throne. And finally, I can elaborate on the middle wing ring row, not number 1 and number 3, but the number 2. Ruhi rainbow number 2, or the central wing waistline, intermediary iris, Christ corona at middle level, of the Christ four cornerstone arca. The third eye oracle Dabir Khane, who is between in the midst of the 2 eyelids, or the 2 petals of the third eye, or the top and bottom of the arc, the two petals of the ark or the third eye, two wing veils of one is Bina and the other one is Chokma. One is the 24 hands or 24 elder hours, and the other one is the Chokma, or where the firepower of the Christ clock comes, and these are the 24 elder hours. And contrary to the stationary sephiroths of Bina and Chokma, that Qadar or love of Allah, whatever He loves, His decision, He loves this, His Asha or Arada Rata'a, His intention, He intends, He kataras, or he vasts, or He gives something to become actualized, a possibility or probability or ability to happen. When that comes, then it becomes the chokma and becomes the hikmat. That is the hikmat, and then that is the reason. That's the what Allah means. And so the mean, this is what Allah means, and that's what the four living beings are doing. Allah reasons, or Allah has decided this, and so they is what they are receiving. That's the hikmat, or the reason, or the wisdom, or the meaning, what Allah has reasoned, what Allah has cried ghara, and so they receive, they get it. And then the 24 hands, or the ladles, or the tongues, say, oh, that is that the case? And say yes, and they write it, or they grab it, and by that the altar of incense can smoke off. That is the hands, or the aidan safarat kiramun bararat, or that are yastaruning the galam. Okay, and so that is how the word, these are the ontological levels that are coming for nurun ala nur, fire upon fire, and or light upon light. And so contrary to the stationary sephiroths of 1 and 2 that are fixed, now Christ, our superstar Christ Tishteria star, can freely fly, bounce, slide, wind, spirit up and down. That's the meaning of Allah flying. Okay, now let's take a look with to Isaiah 6:2. Allah doesn't fly. Like, what does it mean? The creation is hanging from Allah. We are hanging from Allah. How can someone that is hanging from say that he is flying upon something that is hanging from him? If he let it go, and then it vanishes, it disappears, all of us. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his penul, or he doesn't cover, but that's where the hikmat comes. Okay, and so they are receiving the hikmat, or the chokma, from throne. And then with the 2 he covered his feet. That's where the bina comes, or understanding, the reason, the meaning, and then the understanding that comes after the meaning. First you want to know what does someone means, and then you understand it, you take it in, and then you get it, and then that is the feet. And then with the 2 he did fly with the middle wing ring row, and that is the Christ, and by which he is flying, and or in other words, by which, through whom he is making the decisions, letting the decisions to come, or grabbing us. Or Melchizedekally inspect, interlace, tie, moor, weave, wind, wheel, fasten, fly between all of the 11 spirits and the sephiroths. If we look, then we see, by going through the 22 flight passes. Here we can see in the 22 flight passes, when we want to get to Qadr or Qadir, then this is the stationary state of the 4 living beings. This is the stationary state of the 24 Aidan Safarats. But the Christ is the lightning that goes above this, is the route that goes above these, and is the only one that can go and become the right hand of Allah, or as close as possible to Allah. And we call it the 22 lightning lines. And again, he is the Melchizedek of the church mosque, right? The heavenly flying church mosque up to here. Forget about the Malkut level of our souls. And so Christ can bounce up and down here, there, and goes this and that, and it is his church, and he is the priest, he is the Melchizedek, he is the Malek Sadiq of the Mulk, Biyadihil Mulk, as we read. And so he can bounce up and down everywhere that he wants. Let me close some of the tabs to make free the memory. And so 22 air corridors, wind corridors, breeze corridor, blood corridors, fire corridors that are coming. Contrary to two veil petal eyelids of top and bottom facing the covering the face, or they are looking catching the meaning and then understanding the meaning of the third eye arc, Debir oracle, Debir Khane, that statically and without turning, okay, without turning, go extend their eye gazes along the Sarsabili shaft trunk great river. They extend up and down without turning, and they are static. And so like they can eye gaze down to the Christ that goes into the eschaton, or they can eye gaze up that the Christ goes all the way up. That's the meaning of the basically accompanying the Christ, bouncing up and down. Christ is, that's how Allah flies upon the earth. It is the Christ, or the Spirit of Allah, because he is the boundary horizon of the singularity, and everything hangs to that crown singularity. And so that's why we say in 3967, or Surah 39, and that وَمَقَدَّرَ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرُهُ. Let's just get there. That's actually a good one to get a nice buzz. And 3967, we can see that وَمَا قَدَّرَ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ or قَدْرِهِ, or the ketters of him. Okay, and so that's where the keter comes. Okay, and so the keter or the qadar, okay, is what we call qadaru, how much love power, fire power, love power is in Allah. Okay, and so the love power of the holy Allah, and so they don't know these chimpanzees that are denying Allah. Well, and so now check it out. And the earth, or the Malakut, okay, is completely in hand of Yesod of Allah, or we call him Qabz, or his grip. And what is Qabzat? That is the eschaton, or the lowest level, or Yesod, or the Sad, or the foundation of the house, or the molten sea, or the Marvat, as we looked before, or the lower cornea. And then the seven heavens, the Shamaim, are what? Folded to what? To the right hand of Allah, Biyamine. And right hand of Allah is the iris, or the protos, not the eschatos. And the protos is higher than these two. He goes all the way up, and with understanding, a spirit of understanding of Allah, and a spirit of getting the meaning of Allah, Christ becomes the corona around Allah Keter. That is called and so along the Salsabili Shaftran Great River, whenever the Christ Ishtar star would go, the Isa Messiah middle wing ring row wind can dynamically go fly secure vortex below the level 1, i.e. the 24 hands Aidan Safarat, or the ladles, or the tongues, fire catching tongues, or fire getting, or understanding, or decision decreed getting. And also he can go fly above the level 3, or the 4 chokmaing cherubs, Israfil seraphims. And so in short, we can say that by merciful means of the Isa Messiah middle wing ring row, and again here the heaven is hanging or being folded by the Beyadeh el Yamin or Beyadeh el Mulk, is hanging from the iris, protos iris, up there, the Aries, or the event horizon of the Allah's singularity from heaven is hanging or folded to the event horizon. That's Christ. And also the earth is hanging from Christ, just as the 7 heavens are hanging from Christ, from protos Christ, the 8th sky and then the Dead Sea are hanging from the eschatonic Christ. And so whether he goes down or he goes up, they are basically he goes below that level or above their level. And so in short, we can say that by merciful means of Isa Messiah middle wing ring row or Ruhul Amin. Okay, that's where we have it also in the Ruh or Ruh. This is for instance, let's look at the 2 Samuel 22:11. And he rode upon Allah, rides upon cherubs, and he did fly. Okay, what is this flying means? And he was the flying means that Allah is making decision. It is not physical flying, it is decision making, and decision making is giving reason and what he means and what he loves and what he decides and what he kara'a or arada or ratas or aradas, or what he intends. It's not flying. Okay, the flying is a physical way of saying it for the people of the physical world. Up here, and he was seen above the what? Wings of the wind, or he was seen above what? His boundary horizon, or he was seen above the Isahi iris. That's the meaning of the Isahi iris, or Ruhul Amin. That's for 2 Samuel 22:11. Also Psalms 99 and Psalms 18. And the Lord reigns. Let the people tremble. He sits between the cherubims, or the or the cherubims, or the chokma receiving ones, and let the earth be moved. And he rode upon the cherubim, and he did fly, and he fled upon the wings of the wind. Who is the wind? Who is the glory of Allah? It's the same. The wind and the glory of Allah are one. I think here we have it in Ezekiel 4. And the glory of Allah is the wind of Allah. The glory of Allah went up from the cherubs. Glory of Allah is Ruhullah, and Ruhullah is the horse of Allah, or a spirit of Allah, and the spirit of Allah is Isa Masih. عشق. روح الامین. Literally, ruh goes up. That's how Allah, Allah is singularity, fire source. And then, and so in short, we can say, by merciful means of Isa Messiah, he middle wing ring row, or wind row, ruh, Allah would fly, cruise, Trona over the tree of life. In other words, talks to the tree of life, okay, or shine us upon the tree of life, or gives life and reason to tree of life, or pulls up the tree of life, or write us on tree of life. And then you can you can know the rest. Let us summarize by saying that the middle wing ring row, arjaha, kanaf of Allah on the wings and the kanaf of the four living beings are constantly dedicated to accompany us, saying that the middle wing ring row the middle wing ring, middle wing ring row of the wings, yes, the middle ring row wings of the four living beings, and that is the Christ Ruh, are constantly dedicated to accompany the Christ Kabud, or the glory corona, or the name nimbus, or that we have it again in Ezekiel 4:18-19, or the Ruh al-Amenahi, rainbow winged spirit, or the Isahi iris, wits, ariz, in Arabic or Persian we say iris, ariz, wits, ring, or the event horizon, literally, of Holy Allah's singularity, Keter Qadir. اما قدر الله حق قدره فالارض جميع قبضته يوم القیامت والسماوات مطویات بیمینه فسبحانه تعالی اما یشرکون. And then here in Ezekiel 10:18, and the Christ spirit was of Allah, not son of Allah, glory of Allah, a spirit of Allah, related spirit, mood of Allah, the reasoning of Allah, the decision of Allah, حق و حق عقول, or hukhta of Allah, the word of Allah, the logic of Allah, departed from the after threshold and stood over the cherubims. Is another one. And the cherubim lifted up their wings and mounted up from the earth in my sight, and they went out, and the wheels also beside them, and everyone stood on the door of the east gate. This is the eschaton, or where is the east gate? This is the east gate. The Yesod is the east gate, that is facing or easting or dawning upon the second earth, Malkut. And everyone stood at the door of the east gate of the Lord's house, and then the Christ was over them above. Again, as you can see, Christ bounces up and down. Christ goes into the east gate beside them, and everyone stood at the door of the east gate, and so the middle wing ring row goes with them, or basically they are standing still, they are not turning, but they are Christ gazing. At the same time, the four living beings, at the same time, their higher wings that are full of eyes are Allah watching, and the lower wings that are full of the 24 hands are writing whatever Allah is saying, and Allah is open to them by the middle wing, that is the Isai event horizon, And so Isa event horizon can goes and down, and whatever he is doing, he is synchronized with Allah, and then he can goes up, and that is the wind that is bouncing up and down in the salsabili shaft of the lampstand. That is again what we call him kabud glory, kabada, heavy glory. That's meaning of the kabada, kabuding. And it is indeed this Isahi event horizon, or the eight-winged whole middle aura ruah of the ruh wind, upon whom Allah salam singularity sit, is being carried. Or in a correcter sense, we can say it by merciful means of this Isahi event horizon iris, or God's right hand. All of these verses in Holy Quran are all talking in Psalms, and again if we look at the 3967, all of these ones in Psalms are talking about the Christ, or the glorious kabudius kabadas grip grab God, grip grab, or we can say that by merciful means of this Isahi iris, or the God's right hand, or the glorious grip grab, God upholds, carries the seven sky heavens. و سماوات مطویات بیمینه. And so 53:118 is a round trip itinerary here, that Christ goes up, receives the revelation of verse 10, and then comes and then breaks the seals and then share it with the people, with the rest of the creation. Is a round trip itinerary in which Christ Tishteria Star does his special solo flight, and after departing from heavenly creation and receiving the revelation from Allah's singularity, and he is made for his worship of receiving that knowledge of the hour, or the revelation, he returns back to creation in order to unseal and share it with creation. In a similar solo flight with a different mission and mission objectives, we read about this departure part, that in Ezekiel 10:4. And then the Christ glory of Allah went up from the middle of the four cherubs, the level 3. Here it should be the level 1, in fact, but the higher wing ring row. Let's look at it that way. And they stood over the threshold of the seven heaven house, or the event horizon of the creation, or the python, fatan, miftan, maftuning, or python. That's the meaning of the python also, where the python is coming. That's the meaning of the threshold, opening, eye opening, oracle, orifice. Like we say that the mesmerizing eyes or something, that's where the python is coming to. Miftan, opening. Yeah. Oracle, orifice of creation, that is the third eye of the creation, toward its Allah creator. And then the seven heaven house was fulfilled. That's how Allah flies. Or in other words, that's how Allah gets the seven heavens to become fulfilled. Now here is not the flying anymore. To become fulfilled with the jasper cloud. or with the mercy of Allah, or that is coming from Yasin Yasna Izad Yazdan Rahman. Now, when it means that when Allah gets His event horizon to show up and widen up for us and become open eye, open third eye, or threshold of the creation, then rises from all of us. I mean, good for the heavenly ones of us that are going to enjoy. And bad for the heavenly ones that will are losing it. And the Rakia court was fulfilled of the wine or the ginger taste, or tasneem, or brightness of Allah's kabud gloria, that was breathed into the Rakia court Salsabil, Surud Isah Iris Al-Fatiha, the opening, the first Surah, the opening of the mountain of olive or book of life, or right hand Yaminahi, Ruh ring entry, or the third eye hole threshold, that was Miftah. From top, Allah is Miftahing, and from our way we can say that He is opened, or Fatihad, subject objected, you can look at it that way, to and by Allah He pupil. And so we reach to verse 9, and so that was verse 9. Now all of this I made this prepare for us so that we can get to the what is, and so فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى, and this is the right hand of Allah. This is the Isa Messiah, He Irisa of Allah. This is as close as Christ Kabud, Korom, Corona, Nimbus, around the or can get to Allah, or Logati 99 name Nimbusa, for Surah 1-3, who is with and around Allah, He Logat God, or Hosanna He Hale, Halo, Haula of Allah, or the hall around the Allah, He or the Ruhi resonation rainbow, or the echo edge Isa He event horizon, can get to Allah He God Logos. Or in other words, this is this Christ closeness, or Isahi proximity, Nimbusi nearness, or the Rose Windahi vicinity, is less than how much? To فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى, less than. That's why I made all of it blue, because this is the event horizon of the singularity. And فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى, and that is how He became what? The less than 2 cubita, He arc, bent, bow, curvature, unit, rainbow, coil, winding, distance. 2 is at Yasin Yasnai Allah, or the sun disk. And again, that's what we read in Ezekiel 1:28, or Revelation 4:8. And upon it said one like a jasper, or the Yasin Yasna Izad Yazdan Rahman. Jasper is the fire color. And Zardinos, what is Zardinos? We already said Zardinos, the yellow stone. And there was a rainbow round about the Zardinos, Zard throne, Zard sang, inside like unto an emerald, and that is again the green, or the not the green in the green color meaning, but the lively. As the now here in Ezekiel 1:3 also we see that, and appeared and the appearance of the bow or qeshet or qaus or the ark or the nimbus that is in the cloud in the day of the rain, okay, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. That's where in the iris is around round about. This was the appearance and the likeness of the glory of Allah or the Christ that was going all the way up. That's the bow, or we call him the Christ bow or the protosi up top. And when I saw, I fell upon my face. Holy, that is so holy. Yes, of course, that's all we can do and prostrate. So these less than 2 arcas or the rainbows or the qeshets, qawsains, that literally as we read in Ezekiel 1:28, is as close and as near as possible that Christ arc, iris, bow, eyeline, nimbus, event horizon can get in case envelope, draw, third eye, edge, surround, fringe, frame, qab, qabala, qiba, qibla, qabala, qabul, qab, frame, take in, accept, inside, receive, place, at pole, center, wrap around, frame around Allah's first name. Let's summarize that. And so Christ Tishteria Esther was at less than 2 arkiobita qesheti, right hand of Allah. That is precisely what we have in Revelation 5:7. When he wanted to receive the revelation or the 7 seal scroll or the knowledge package or the downloaded USB flash drive data or file from Allah without touch or contacting, and he didn't touch the singularity, less than 2 less than 2 qeshets, or even adna, a less than of it, is not 0. It is still less than 2 is and not 1 is like 1.5 or something like that. And that's what it 24 as we look 24:35 has already said. So it is not touching. And 53:10, and he Allah revealed to his servant فَأَوْهَا إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ. Now this is very important word. This is all about the revelation or the event number 1. And Allah revealed to his Christ servant, slave, or Isahi, Abd or Abd, and Abdullah, that Christ says, or the Christ Tishteria, a star of the sheer, sharing, shu'uring, discharging consciousness. What? That's the ma, the revelation that he revealed. The relative pronoun of what is referring to the 7 seal scroll or the Vahya or Allama or the ilm sa'ad or the knowledge of the hour or the secret knowledge of the hour or the rendezvous day for impatient lovers of Allah. Congratulations to all of the art and artist loving lovers of Allah, art and artists, because Christ Lion has been able to receive the revelation and the wahy and the secret knowledge or lamb book from Allah. This relative pronoun of ma that I placed in a green color was event 1. Let us rejoice Jusa by singing Subhanallah smoke spirit sanga, because Allah has mercifully given the purpose, plan, permission. That's again was we already read 21, 16, 17, 18. John 3, 16, 17, 18. To his Christ hammer, Hamda, to crush the curse Krishna scratchy false ugliness and dark Durga dragony devouring of the beauty and her Barack Babun Obama dildo diablos dadichi. Now let us focus on event 2. Break, open, unseal, unzip, actualize, accomplishing, performing it, the event 1 or the revelation. And then revealing it to the heavenly paracletes, the groomsmen, students, prophets, imams, witnesses. 53:11. The Muhammad's heart eye al-Fuad did not lie about what it saw. Before that, let's have a rejoice juicer. And they never went into moon, so rubbish. This is about the region.
You can't bargain with the truth, whether you're right or you're wrong. Gonna know what you've done, gonna see where you belong in the end. You can't bargain with the truth, whether you're black or you're white. We're gonna know who's right, we're gonna see you in the light in the end. And every little thing you do,
You know it's gonna come to you. You meditate, it's gonna silence is gonna come back to you. You worship Obama, that's what you're gonna receive at the end. You homosexualize, you're oppressing yourself. You betray on your neighbors,
you can't bargain with the truth, whether you're old or young. Gonna see what you've done.
you're betraying on yourself.
In the end, you can't bargain with the truth, whether you're rich or you're poor. You're gonna meet at the same door. You're gonna know the real score in the end. You want to help your fellow man. You can start with what's in your hand.
And the truth will set us free, eh? Huchta, kakak.
Whether you're right or you're wrong, we're gonna know what you've done. Gonna see where you belong.
You chimpanzee, you worship a coronavirus making orangutan as your god? خاک بر سرت بابا. خاک. Falsehood, dark Durga, dragonic lie upon lie.
You can't bargain with the truth, 'cause if the world you chose no further than your nose, will be where the doors will close in the end. You can't bargain with the truth, 'cause for those who deceive, there'll be no reprieve, there'll be no time to believe in the end. Every little thing you do, you better know it's coming back to you. You can't
Yes, and so we are very close to facing the Huchta, Chakak, Hagios of Allah that is mentioned 21:18, that Allah is going to shatter the falsehood with his Christ truth hammer hand. And so and the fu'ad or the nataf, or the cleaned nataf, foot washed nataf of Prophet Muhammad, and also Johannes the Baptist, did not lie about what it saw. The mentioned heart, eye, fu'ad of this verse is the Christ logos ethos, heart, eye, fu'ad, or the certain eye, or tatma'in al-qulub, or the atman, tatma'in al-qulub bi-zikrillah, of the nafs al-mutma'inna, that only purchased and chosen people of Allah are allowed to possess by merciful means of the Bismillahi, blood, Kawthari, cry, Jaziyah, tear, taxa of the Christ, Tishteriya.
All that is in the heavens and the earth magnifies God. He is the Almighty, the All-Wise. To him belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. He gives life, and he makes to die. And he is powerful over everything. He is the first and the last, the outward and the inward. He has knowledge of everything.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Morning when we wake,
Bismillah, Bismillah, Hashem Allah, Hashem Allah.
Bismillah,
Great name Allah, great name Allah.
every word we say,
Bismillah, Bismillah.
and every game we play.
Bismillah, Bismillah. Bismillah of Allah, Shem Allah of Shamuim. Rabbil Alameen. Let's sama to the Bismillah of Shamuim of Bismillah Allah.
With everything we do,
Bismillah, Bismillah.
with everything that's new,
Bismillah, Bismillah.
with every place we go,
Bihashem Allah, Bihashem Allah.
and every friend we know.
Bihashem of the Shamoim that is with Allah. Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Bringing the hand drums and then maybe or the heart harps and singing. Inshallah soon this funky haze and the stinky gas and all of its toxic flatulence will be ventilated. The Vishnuic wastewater and sinful filth and the pagan junk and stagnant stench that is not cleaned out by the Ravanahi, Reina or the Mahishasurahi, Milka of Allah are considered blinded eyes. They are not fuad, they are not logesetos, they are not fuad or the atmans. Sinful spirits, dead droplets, blank natafs, unconscious zilches, deaf ears, sealed souls, khatam sealed hearts, or the khatam Sulaiman, khatam ala qulubihim, which are outside of the dividing or khataming that is safeguarding, or the Hitan, Jabal, iron dam, Sadd, and the gated wall, or the Hiram, Harim, or the Qashavat, they are in the Qashavat. And it's called the wilderness winepress of wrath, or the profane perdition. On judgment day, all of us will receive the fu'ad, have the fu'ad activated. Then even the ones that are now sealed, their hearts and their ears and their eyes, and they cannot recognize, they will have that opened, so that they can burn in sorrow. Because all of us have one heart, and cooked heart, activated eye, because fuad, or the Christ logos, or truth ethos accepted words. Due to the baptizing moonshine of the day door disk, behind whom Allah God will shine shaloming, will be shine shaloming. However, the sealed eyes and the sober stone hearts of the Buddha pharaohs Egypt will fall into sorrow fire when they see the truth trust tablet by means of trust tablet of Allah. And how do they see? When their fu'ads has become functional or activated. Surah 53 verse 12. So will you dispute with him over what he saw? Here we read about event 2. This one verse doesn't explicitly talk about unsealing, unzipping, or breaking the revelation, but it talks about the final step, one step after it, and complete accomplishment of the revelation skill that is unbroken and then performed, carried out, that is already carried out. And he certainly saw him eastern Christ Tishteria, a star that comes at the eastern gate, in another descent, nazal, nazlatan, tanzilan, down, nazaling down, that went down into the Eskatani door, لَقَدْ رَآهُ نَزْلَةً أُخْرَى, nazal down, that is similar to the Hava, or the descent, fly down of verse 1. And now we are in verse 13, that it goes down. However, this time the descent of the Christ Tishteria is there to the Eskatania moon disk door is to what? To shepherd the Deva, Daeva, Devil, Diavus, Ziavus, worshipping nations of the end time earth with what? With his Chinut, Pretom, Brigi, beacon, iron rod, horn. Now you orangutans who killed the Saint Qasem Soleimani, now watch what we're gonna do to you. You think that with funky American military and Saudi Arabian orangutans that are working for the Dajjal serving bin Salman Sofiani, you can get away with it? Now watch what's gonna happen to you. You keep gay priding and God particle, clapping for each other for making God particles and those things. Asirati, iron tongue sword, for again, for basically to send us to shepherd them with this. Amana, Ya Hali Allah. And so 53:14, he did anticolon overarched Mumbuk break while where he was what? And so Prophet Muhammad saw what? Ra'ahu nazatan ukhra in the Sidrata Muntaha, and he was at the Christisteria star, the superstar, the Najm was at. And Prophet Muhammad saw that the Najm went down to the Eskatani door and shepherded the nations and went into the foundation of the tree of life, or the cedar tree, or the olive tree, at the cedar sedrat tree of love life. of the utmost boundary. No, this is not the utmost boundary. Al-Muntaha here means the other side. Muntaha Elai. Or in a way, yes, utmost boundary, but what utmost boundary? Saqful Marfu, the highest ceiling roof of the seven heaven. Of eighth sky. Or in other words, at the other side, Muntaha Elai, Muntaha at the other side, at the right hand side, back side, beyond side, inner courtyard side of Isahi Eskatan Ismus Barzakh. That is at the uppermost end of the eighth sky. Uppermost. Muntaha. Other side. Muntaha. Matthew 40:22. Other side. Or inside the bulb, lamp, misbah, or the raised roof rock, on top of the series of the four nasal nose skies. And what happened? By the heavenly garden, or the new earthy ground rock flora of the seven heavens, new heavena, Shamayim shaft, firmamental flute finger pen. And then 53:16, when up there they added in Eden, Adan, Eidos, Eid, Yaad, Va'ad, Moed, the Aden, Eden upping, get togethering, or the clump cloud congregation, the gathering, the assemblia, or the gathering of the Holy Ghost greenery, or the bridal building material of the green Hosanna husband house, happen. Or the emerald green Zomorod, Samargidos, Zomorod, Zemoraz, Zamars, Mizmors, or the flutes, or the palm singing four-finger flutes, or the green queen covering of Christ Khidr. It's the meaning of the Christ Khidr, Surah 18. Or the Khatsir, or the Rafrafa Khuzran, Nahi garden tree, vineyard, Bait HaKarim, or the Cedar tree, which covered. And so in short, when up there covered the Cedar tree, that which covered him, the Christ. And who covered him? His queen, his heavenly queen, his Holy Spirit. And they went for 12 eternal moon months of the Hashanah year for two honeymoons, 12 honeymoons. This Edeni Adab, or Allahumma assembly of the Allahummaing Ahs, are the godly covering, or yaksha, catch-upping, or gathering, or kasaing, catching up, okay, of the beautiful foliage, or the La ilaha illallah in greenery of John 1:12. But as many as receive the Christ, to them will be given the power to become not sons, but the spirits, horses of Allah, or tickets of Allah, or the furnitures of the heavens church. Again, over there is no furniture, it is all a spirit. Even to them that believes on his name. And so that's the gathering, or adding, edening, assembly upon the Christ cedar tree, or in other words, the foliage or the greenery of the Christ cedar tree, Sedratul Muntaha, or the Yakin Boa, is becoming re-inhabited. or inhaled. Has many and so this Ideni adab has many scriptural equivalents, like سوئر فلا أقسم بالخنس, like سوئر summation or retreating, فلا أقسم بالخنس, retreating of the seven stars, or the seven sisters are retreating, are regathering, or evening up. Or as we looked before, or the inhalat, or the misbah is inhalat, or the Allahi inhalat, or the Bismillahi Birisa, back into the Tabrizi lamp long, our morning inhaler of 4 heavenly windows and the 4 sabaoit, or sabaian, or sabaianzi spiritas, back into morning misbah lamp. And verse 17, and the 40 sight of both prophets, whether in Mecca or in Patmos Island, did not faint or swear or jaw drop or buckled or popped out, nor did it them transgress, grow horn, or eye popped out. Both of them. ما زاغ البصر و ما طغى. It didn't pop out and it didn't buckle. They were sharp during for seeing the revelation that is about what? Not only the breaking, but actually doing it. Again, that's the real time. This is I am already dead, you are already dead, this is already dead, that is already finished. That has already happened. And then the Sadratul Muntaha, or the utmost cedar tree, is already refoliated, or has regained its foliage. Its Holy Spirit has gone back into upon him, and the Jannat al-Ma'wa. And the 40 side did it wrong. And verse 18, he, both Muhammad and Prophet Yohanes sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Patmos Island, certainly saw in awe the greatest sign, event 1 and 2, of his Allahi love Lord. And so they saw even the re-inhabitation, or inheriting the new earth and new heaven, and that is called basically that is the future cone that is already enjoying. And bad for us that we are here, and if we want to join, inshallah, with the Tariq track that will be open upon the sun rising, you can catch up. Again, the Saint Qasim Soleimani-ImamMahdi al-Muhandis, all of these terrorists that are killed by the Antichrist, and his human rights organizations and gay priding orangutans, they are all over there. And then we are wasting our time here, because this time is already expired and extinct, and has received the parasitical bug and is terminated. And so it's time for us to pack up our suitcases, find bunch of Israeli chimpanzees, soldiers that are working for the Zionist communists and capitalists in the army of the Netanyahu, and then finish them. And that will be the best way for us to reach to where we really belong. As yaksha saddata ma yaksha. Jazakallah khairan.